Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome in. Um, I'm so excited to be going live to discuss Harlem and Bel-Air tonight. We are definitely doing this little twofer because Harlem episodes 7 and 8, the season 2 finale is episode 8, dropped today midnight, and I have not been doing any lives about it, but it's such an amazing show, and so many dope conversations are being had on that show. So I had to go ahead and piggyback it with Bel Air. And of course, y'all, I said I was coming to talk with y'all about the premiere of Bel Air. We have all been excited and waiting for it, and it's finally here. If you have not watched the episode already, I will tell you that there's going to be tons and tons and tons of spoilers in this live, so this one might not be the one for you. It did drop yesterday, so you've had about 24 hours to watch it, child. But you can feel free to press pause and come back and watch this live after you watch it if you have not seen it already. If you are new here, I'm your good sis you love to talk TV with right here on Erica Vane TV. My name is Erica Vane. And I break down a lot of dope television series, specifically in the scripted space, a lot of 1 hour dramas. Most of y'all know me from All American content as well as Sisters content. However, I'm breaking down The Shy. I've talked about Snowfall in the past, Grownish. P Valley is one of my top faves. The Power Universe, and so much more. And as I mentioned, we are talking about Harlem and Bel Air tonight. So, because this is a newer live and I don't do it as regularly, I'm going to go ahead and explain how things go for some of the new people. I typically shout out people who are in the live. So drop how you're feeling, what's going on with you for this Friday. Before we jump into talking about these episodes, let me know what's going on with you, how you feeling, what you thinking, all of that jazz in the chat box. I'm also live on Instagram because I am going to be patching people in who want to speak and say how they feel about specific parts of the episodes, and I love to be able to actually talk with y'all versus just reading your comments. So if you're not already, follow me on Instagram at ericavane.com, all spelled out, and you can come over right now. I am live over there if you would like to get in queue and chat directly with me about what we're talking about with the show. But in the meantime, in between time, Kathleen, Keish, Dakota, what's good? Sue Keith, how are you? Keish, the song is linked in the description box down below. Anytime y'all hear music in any of my videos, you will know what the song is or where to get it in the description box. I will always link my music because I come across really dope talent, and I always want to make sure that they get the credit that they are due, you know? Tamara, hey boo, hey, you feeling great? Awesome. I'm feeling good too. It's been an interesting day. It's really cold and rainy here in LA, and it was snowing yesterday. I don't know what is going on with our good here Earth, but it's a little interesting. Over on IG, hi Desi, hey Hannah, hey No Limit, Nick, This Entertainment, what's good? Nana Kingsley, how are you? Mary, hello. Shout out to the members. The people that you guys see a little emoji EV behind their name are members of the channel, and they are supporting in a major way. And I'm grateful for y'all actually being down and riding with your good sis. Thank you, Desi. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing tonight. We're talking about Harlem and Bel-Air. Has everyone seen Harlem? Before I jump all the way off the deep end, Money Green Tay says, Erica, I'm loving this season of Harlem and Bel-Air. I don't know. Y'all gonna be mad at me. We're gonna talk about Harlem first because I feel like my peoples is gonna be mad at me when it comes to Bel-Air. Y'all might be a little bit mad at me. What are you loving about Harlem, Money Green Say? Or anyone who is checking in right now, what are some of the things that you love most about Harlem? While I get us all set up to go into the specific beats I want to chat about with it. Drop it in the chat. What are you loving about Harlem? Let me get rid of that. So, just a quick reminder, we're talking about Harlem and Bel-Air. First up, Harlem. Keith says everything, black women just being themselves. That is just so powerful. Honestly, I really did not realize exactly how much we were missing this um until Best Man final chapters. Like being able to just watch black people live their life, and of course we had the moment like with the Karen and like certain things, but for the most part the entire series was just about them living, figuring out love, figuring out divorce, figuring out kids, figuring out career. I did not really realize how much I have been like starving for that until we got that, and I was just like, yo, we definitely need more of it. And Harlem is definitely telling those stories and like giving us a really good mix as well. I feel like they have done the ensemble um arc the best because the women are just really different but complement each other beautifully. And after like being obsessed, like Girlfriends is one of my favorite television shows of all time. Being obsessed with Girlfriends and then coming into a show like Harlem and being able to watch it and not feel like you know exactly what's coming, you know what someone's about to say, but then it still feels very authentic. Like it's not like a bunch of wild stuff just for shock value at all. I thought that they just really did a great job of like towing the line of telling our stories, but then also making it interesting and engaging enough for you to be a black woman and be like, oh wait, oh yeah, that could also be happening. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Mimi Loves Peace, welcome in. Money Green says Camille's kind of getting on my nerves of not knowing what she wants. I think she should have stayed with Ian. Ooh, Tay. Okay, so you think that Camille is the one who's pregnant? Because we don't know. We literally don't know at the end of the episode. Hey, Kenny, welcome in, boo. Mimi Loves Peace says, well, if she doesn't want kids, then that's not fair to Ian when she knows he wants to be a father. That whole conversation is very interesting. And I really had not thought about it until watching the show. But it just brings it back to me to the conversation around, is love enough? And I learned like in my early 30s, like love is not enough. And to see certain things like happen within some of these television series, it's just a reconfirmation for me. And now looking at Camille and Ian, it's like, oh yeah, it ain't. There are some other things that also have to align. There's certain beliefs, there's goals, there's desires, there's of course lifestyles. There's just certain things that just have to also be aligned and be in place for it to actually work. You can't just love the hell out of somebody and just hope for the best, because love will only get you but so far. And with the conversation around her and if she actually wants kids, I'm like, girl, do you not actually want kids? But then I'm like going to a place of like, well, why am I questioning that? Is that like a thing that society has placed in our head because women who don't want kids are looked at like as weird or abnormal, or something has to be wrong? And I don't think that I'm putting that off on her, but that's something I do question of myself. And it's so dope that Harlem is having this conversation, because that is a conversation that's actually happening in the zeitgeist right now. Like if you go on the TikTok, it's all the childless women and all the mothers going at it about how better their lives are, and like the women who are mothers are like, you need to be a mom, and the childless women are like, y'all need to stop trying to tell me that I need to be a mom. I don't want to be a mom. I ain't never gonna be no mom. And I'm like, yo, this is so dope to watch this play out. The only thing I kind of wish is that we would have gotten to see more of her processing, because I feel like Camille, because she doesn't always know what she wants, and she has that Quinn-esque like flightiness to her. She could make a decision in one instance, but then also go back in the next. So I don't necessarily know if I believe that she really don't want kids. Like, it wasn't that she had always had that thought. I don't know if she's being influenced now by how difficult it's going to be if she did want to pursue kids based off of her egg reserve count. Like, there's so much to just like break down. No, it's not 2 more episodes. So Harlem season 2 only got 8 episodes this season. Hey, Big Kev, welcome in. How are you? Mimi Loves Peace says it's like Jordan in the Best Man's last chapters. But even with Jordan, it wasn't clear. Like, they didn't actually communicate to us what she wanted fully either. Like, aside from like wanting to be a beast and a bomb within her career, life wise, we had that one moment where she broke down in a car with Lance and like said certain things, but even after she like walked out of her job and decided to consult and was like seemingly great at the end, it's like, girl, what does this actually look like for you? I'm gonna need you to spell it out because I might be a little slow. Like, and I'm anticipating in Harlem season 3 we will see Camille, I guess, unpack that. I'm not excited for like what could be the yo-yo-ness of it all, because what if she decides next season that she actually does want kids and she didn't already let Ian go, and like now he has to process that. It's just like but nonetheless, amazing writing. Like, amazing writing, beautiful performances. My breakout from this season, which is completely wild to me, it boggles my mind, right? But Angie was by far my favorite this season. This was Shaniqua's season. She literally stole the show. And it's wild for me because season 1, I was not a Angie fan at all. When she ran up that Uber bill, I was done with her. Done. And then also from the beginning, I really couldn't relate because she is so promiscuous, because she is very, in a lot of ways, bordering between confident and arrogant, right? I just could not relate to her. But in this season, we got to see so much more in reference to why she's the way she is, how she arrived at the place of like how she thinks. We really got clear understanding of where her confidence comes from, and we also got a clearer understanding of what she wants out of life and how she plans to go about getting it. And then they did it with bomb clothes and bright colors, and Shaniqua just embodied Angie so beautifully. It's like, this was 120% Shaniqua's season, Angie's season, and I'm here for it. Hey, Shanoa, welcome in, boo. Welcome in. Mimi Loves Peace says Angie was the GOAT this season. The GOAT. It was so much balance and nuance to her as a character, because in one end, she was still very much so promiscuous, still very much so doing her thing. I was wondering at the top of the season, like, girl, when are you going to actually sit in your feelings about not making it and not doing certain things? Because it seemed like she was like hopping from one bed to the next, and she never really took time to think. But then we got the family episode where we do see that this is the way that she does it. Like, she's not one of those people who necessarily has to like go internally fully and sulk and like pine away at the thought of whatever, and she can bounce back with getting her cup refilled by her mom and her brothers and her friends, and then it's on to the next. And then for her to actually get a love story on the tail end of the season, I'm just like, okay. And then it enters the conversation of like, what do we do when you wasn't planning on getting into a relationship, but then the right one finds you, and now you got to let go all of your previous tendencies, and you're fighting with what you're used to doing in your habits versus now what you want to do, which is completely new to you and gonna be uncomfortable. I'm like, not this dynamic, nuanced, complex, dope ass writing for this beautiful black woman. I'm here for it. It's so good. Angie literally, to me, stole the show. Quinn, I struggle with the most, I think, this season, just because I did not believe her queer story to begin with. I felt like it was very clear that she was just pursuing being desired. So the moment where she started to pursue this relationship with Isabel and step into her lesbian era, it did not feel like she was actually discovering something about herself and like giving herself permission to walk into queerness. It felt like she was doing it because it's finally somebody that will want me. And to watch at the end of the season how she was able to basically shift right out of that, and like after going through a super huge depressive episode and sacrificing a huge moment for her brand and her company and just falling into a really big pit, to me, by the time we get out of the season, it's very clear, like, girl, you weren't necessarily really queer. You just wanted to be loved, and you still want to be loved. Now, I am happy at where she arrived at the end of the season. However, the road that we took to get there, I'm like, girl, I don't know what else you want from me. I'm going to need you to sit your ass down and focus because you're stressing me out, and I don't have time to deal with you basically meddling and ruining your own life, and then you want everybody to cry and be mad with you about it. Those are my thoughts on Quinn. Ciao. Okay, so before I even go further, who are y'all's favorites from Harlem season 2? Or what were some of your favorite moments that played out this season? Chanel, are you watching Harlem? Drop it into the chat, y'all. Let me send this to Naya. It's welcome in, new folks. We are talking about Harlem. Money Green Tay says, I think Quinn just wanted someone to love her. She wasn't happy. Was herself. Ty and Angie was my favorite. Ty's story was cool too this season. Ty's story was really cool. I'm glad that she didn't wind up losing half of her damn money because, Lord, I was just like, sir, I get it. You want to make her pay or whatever for like abandoning you and like running off and act like you never existed. But like, be for real. You have not done a damn thing to help her amass these multi-millions of dollars. And for you to come back and think that you are entitled to 50% and put her through hell and high water to fight for it. Yeah, I was going to have problems with Lil Brandon. I was also surprised that we didn't get to see any more of him throughout the rest of the season because I feel like the way that they had like resolved that they were going to still be in each other's lives and to still be friends. So that's interesting. Mimi Loves Peace says Angie and Ty. Angie has the most unexpected this season, and the ending had my jaw dropped. Yeah, the ending was wild. Wild. Any other favorite moments from y'all for Harlem season 2 that you want to share? Drop it in the chat. Okay, so next. Let's talk about the weed episode was hilarious. Wait. Oh, yeah. So that's the thing. Okay, we're going to go ahead and talk about Camille. Because the weed episode was hilarious. And it was that episode that really made me be like, yo, Camille and Ian are it. Okay, I can do this. Like, I get it. But then, like, looking at the rest of the season, because I came into it like, okay, Camille and Ian clearly had unfinished business, had certain things that they need to work out. Ian did not need to marry Mira regardless because he did not want to be with that girl. So Ian being the guy who like basically picked whoever was standing beside him at the moment in time when he felt like he needed to get married versus actually decided to marry the woman that he wants to be with bothered me, but I'm glad it turned out that way. However, on Camille's side of things, she had two very, very real options. Like, I felt like her and Jameson were in a really great place. She was really into him and they were moving forward steadily until Ian. And I could see her with Jameson as well. So it was still until the weed episode, it was still in the back of my mind, like, damn, did Camille actually make the right choice? Like, do we go back to what we know and what feels comfortable and safe and we love? Or do we move forward and like take a leap on this new thing that could actually be what I'm supposed to be with? And the weed episode was like, oh no, Ian and Camille actually belong together. But then after that episode, certain things started to play out, and I started to get the idea of like, well, wait, Camille is like reverting back to who she used to be, and does she have to be the old Camille to be in relationship with Ian? Because if she do, and there's no bridge between who she used to be and who she is now, then maybe this ain't the healthiest relationship for her. So then I started to think that, so for us to arrive at where we arrived at the end of the season, I'm not too mad at it. And then with Jameson talking about he don't think he's done yet either, I'm just like, ugh. But I don't want to deal with the yo-yoing, but I get it. It's like very, very authentic. It's real. I think that Camille needed to happen to stop Ian from making a huge mistake, period, whether they got together or not. But Camille still needs to explore whatever this was with Jameson. And what the hell does that look like? Like, right now it looks like, oh, well, I don't want kids and you want kids, so maybe we shouldn't be together. And ultimately that feels like she's going to go back to Jameson. But then also she still needed to explore what was there with Jameson. I don't know. It's a lot of big grown-up conversations happening on Harlem that I wasn't necessarily ready for, but I'm very, very excited about. Mimi Loves Peace as the Black Joy exhibit. Yeah, that was really cool. It was really cool. Points were made. For Harlem to be a 30-minute show, they packed so much in and like really opened the door for so many various conversations. And it just did so beautifully. Like, I didn't feel like they were pushing an agenda at all. I didn't feel like the creatives behind it were like, oh, well, we want you to think this. Like, it really just opened the door and like presented circumstances that you could question or you could converse about with your closest friends, and it just opens it up. Nia Love says, just finished the finale and I'm speechless. Like, who is it, first of all? Because they don't actually tell us who it is or even like hint at who it is. My heart wants to say it's Camille, but it's like, girl. But then also, low key, y'all, it could be more than one of them. Who do y'all think is pregnant? Hey, Katie, welcome in. While Angie's story was the most like entertaining and engaging, and I feel like we saw the most growth with her, Camille and Ian's journey, or Camille's journey specifically, is raising the most questions for me and having me think more about my life. Money Green Tay says, I'm still saying it was Camille who's pregnant because it's usually the woman who say she don't want kids. And I think she was looking for some type of acceptance from her mom. Okay. Quinn, someone for her to love. You think Quinn is pregnant? Oh, Lord. I know Quinn wants to be a mom, but Quinn got a lot of healing to do. Nia Love says, I feel like it's either Camille or Quinn. Lord. Yeah, because if it was Angie, we would probably not even like it would be a conversation over brunch about how she took care of it because she's not ready at this point in her life. And of course, Ty not until she's ready. I don't think Ty's gonna be ready to use those eggs no time soon. Especially with Ty like finally get to a place with what could be a very mature relationship and come to find out the little freak hoe that she aligned with is the plant lady's daughter. Like they had to do that. They have to do that. Hey Lawrence. Lawrence says, whoa, just finished Harlem. So many storylines for next season. Yes. They really did an amazing job. If you guys want to come on camera and you want to talk and share your thoughts about Harlem, just come over to the live and request me and we will pop you on screen and we could chop it up. Feel free. ericavane.com, all spelled out, on IG, and just hit the little request button on the live that is open right now. I don't know. I kind of feel like it could be Camille because she now don't want kids. But who knows? Nia Love says the last 10 minutes was insane. I'm stressed. I need season 3 now, and they haven't even started filming yet. Like, we need season 3 now. I honestly hope it's not Quinn that's pregnant because I really feel like Quinn just has so much to heal from. I'm very proud of her for choosing herself at the very end. However, I am pissed with her because Quinn, you had this man in your back pocket as your college ex, and you have us going on dates with you to multi-level marketing, random thing. Like you're getting catfished and left on a train in Staten out or left off the ferry in Staten Island, and like all of the things are happening to you in your love life, and this is your ex. Why in the hell didn't we call this ex? Why didn't we ever revisit this relationship? Like, I'm just very confused. You have the worst dating history of any black woman in New York, and you did not go through your Rolodex and decide to double back to this man who you seemingly had a beautiful relationship with in college, but it just wasn't the right time, or I don't damn know. Like, so much of not Camille, so much of Quinn's issue feels self-imposed, and that was just confirmed for me when old boy popped up and they just literally fell back into wherever the hell they were when they last saw each other in college, and it was like they were a perfect match. So Quinn, what the hell are we doing? You could have been spending all this time after college working on yourself, getting a little bit more self-reliant and being able to self-validate and really leaning into your self-love and all that kind of stuff. And then you could have been married by now, girl. Like, what are we actually doing? I don't get it. Nia Love says, I feel like Ian and Camille should have stayed together. Camille don't know what she wants, and it feels like she's going to change her mind, but it will be too late. It do feel like she's going to change her mind again. It do. She's saying she don't want kids right now, but I don't know if I really believe it. I think that Camille has not arrived at a place within her professional life, and that is creating a lot of blocks for her in every other aspect of her life. And that happens sometimes. Like sometimes we hold ourselves back and thinking that we can't move forward until we arrive at this place so that we'll be more valuable and more respected or whatever. And ultimately we'll like sabotage other little things so that we can kind of like hold the train in the rest of our life so that our career can catch up. And that's personally what I'm starting to feel like I see with Camille, but I don't know for sure. You just thought it was cute. It was her husband in real life. That was very cute, but like, for nothing to be seemingly wrong with him, I'm like Quinn, you have gone out with so many raggedy dudes. One that stole your damn like, girl, why didn't we ever hit this dude back up? Like, what are you doing? Why did we not know where he was at in life, that he is very much so single? It stressed me out. Nia Love says she found a way to self-sabotage anyway. I don't know. So, like, I haven't been in that situation, so I really don't have any kind of experience with it. What are y'all's thoughts on that conversation? If you want kids and your partner doesn't, would you stay with them? Even if it's just for like a little bit long, like what does that conversation even look like? Because part of me is like, damn, I wish they didn't break up right then and there. But then it's also like, well, what else were they supposed to do? You know? Y'all let me know because I have no clue. I'm thinking about it from a writer standpoint, and I'm like, what would be the most interesting thing to write for the characters to do? I don't know, because wouldn't Ian be wasting time with Camille if she's saying right now that she don't want kids and he do? Wouldn't he be wasting time not going to go find somebody else who also wants kids? Like he could be getting to know some other lovely lady and like building the blocks that he needs to have a solid foundation for this relationship, you know? I wish more men was watching Harlem because I'm like, I need their perspective on this. Keish says children are forever commitment. I think it's better to let them go and find someone they are compatible with than for one of you to give in and regret it. Yeah, I can see that. I agree. Hey Kofi, welcome in. Hey Jazz. I can see that. But the crazy thing is like Ian just has Camille. Camille had Ian and Jameson. So like he is literally starting completely over. So I could see not wanting to do that, right? Or like if Ian is like really convinced that Camille is that one, but you're right, because ultimately you will regret it. I also feel like it's a little bit more to the conversation because it's a little nuance in like I don't want to have kids, right? Like you don't want kids to pass through your body, so can we adopt? Or can we do surrogacy? Or do you like not want any young humans in your house at all and you don't want to raise them? That's the conversation that I don't feel like we got to see them have. Like it was cool and all for Camilla to be like, "Oh, this project is like my baby. This is the baby I want." And I'm like, "Okay, girl." But like how does that actually like fulfill? Like you going to have to I need more words, Camille. I need more words cuz I'm not understanding. Nia Love says, I just feel like Camille has some mommy issues that she hasn't worked out, and that is manifesting in her saying that she doesn't want kids. Ooh, I could see that. I could see that 110%. I like adamantly, right? Like adamantly do not want to date and or marry a man who already has children. And this is a conversation that me and my friends have had because I'm like really serious about it. And part of it, I can admit, I think is really tied to I experienced trauma from a stepmother. And I don't think that I would be a mean or nasty or evil stepmother in any way. But I just don't want my kids to experience certain things that I experience. And I don't want the responsibility of someone else's kids. I don't want the like, I don't want to have to adjust my life. I want everybody who's supposed to be in our house at all times. I don't want the shuffling back and forth. And like, aside from even like the child to the stepmother relationship, right? Because I think I would be great with his kids, cool. But like, I experienced with my sisters at various moments in our lives, like, I have two sisters and they have the same mom and we share dad. I experienced growing up like they used to say my dad, my dad, my dad, and it took them a while. I'm the oldest. It took them a while to register like that's my dad too. But as that was like happening, I'm being subjected to that. So like I used to spend every summer in Detroit with my dad and their family. And I was subjected to that. And then I had the experiences that I experienced with my stepmother. And it's just like, I don't want none of it. I don't want the coordinating of when, who gets what holidays and what. No, I don't want it. And I've had friends tell me like, but you would be an amazing stepmom. You would do this and you would do that. Like, you're so nurturing. You're so this. Cool. I also don't want to deal with being amazing and then the mama resenting me because I'm amazing. Because that also happens too. Like, I don't want any of it that comes with it. And I made that point only because I agree with you, Nia. Like, we can have certain things that have like really impacted or influenced us in our growing up or in our childhood. And it does become huge, whether blocks or constraints or rules or whatever that we use to govern our lives within our adult life. So Camille could definitely be struggling with her mommy issues and not want to be a mom in turn because of that. Nia Love says she could actually not want kids, but I think she needs to be clear without baggage when making that decision. Yeah, I agree. What if the guy you meet is a single father and the mother passed? I still don't want it. I don't want it. I really don't. Like, I don't want the complexity that comes with that. Like, I want the traditional nuclear family with no children outside the original home or my home. I don't. And I can't tell you why, Keish, with your specific scenario, because some of the things that were the biggest things for me, right, are taken care of because she's not here anymore. But I just don't. I don't want it. And it's also, child, now we about to go into an interesting place. I've had a bunch of conversations with my friends about life and our different perspectives on it. But I'm also like, I don't see myself doing any type of interracial dating. And I just don't want it. Like, I don't want it at all. Lawrence, request me again. I'm so sorry. It dropped off. Request me again so I can add you on. There's just certain things that I just don't want. Like, and I know I've thought heavily about being a dark-skinned woman in America and like having children. And I really do want like children that look like me. And I don't know what I'm gonna do if I like marry like a very, 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 very fair black man and my kids come out like hella light. Because like I have experienced like, I mean, I'm gonna love them, of course. Like, I'm not saying I'm not gonna love them, but I've experienced life in a very specific way assigned to dark-skinned black women. And like I just have imagined like having a little light-skinned daughter who has like light skin privilege because it's there. It might not be the same for different people in different areas, but it's there. And like to know what it is to be dark versus to see what happens when you're light and be like, what am I supposed to tell this girl? Like she's running around here just stressed, and it's like, girl, it could be worse. So like that's another thing that has come up for me. Like I want a life as devoid of like our societal uh drama as possible, if that makes sense. um Nia Love says, I get it. There's still a dynamic that you have to work with for the children are yours biologically. It's not for everyone. Um, yeah, and but the crazy thing is like I've also imagined myself. Lawrence, if you're still here, request me again because I don't. Oh wait, can I? There we go. I have imagined myself like adopting, well, not necessarily adopting into my home though. I've imagined like doing group homes, but like making them better and making them more like family oriented cuz I believe that like we just need to take in more kids. So I don't know. That's something I'm still like exploring. Hey Lawrence,
What's up? What's up? What's up?
let me get you on screen. Hold on one second. Um if y'all are interested in jumping on screen and having a conversation with me, come over to the IG and request me. I'm about to get Lawrence up right now. Not me not being prepared, child. Hold on one second, Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm feeling great.
This is my first time on camera. Of course, I've been joined your YouTube community like 3 years ago. I first met you
Yeah.
due to All American. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So big fan. Um, Great to see how far the channel has grown. Like I said, I came in like 3 years ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm. There
Yeah.
was like 100 subscribers and like just
Yeah.
starting to get the stride and like grow. Yeah.
Right.
I appreciate you. I'm excited to see you because you said you want to start a channel too, right?
I am. I am. I'm in the process. Just got my ring light. Been on YouTube looking at Canva tutorials about thumbnails and all that right there. So I'm excited to go on this TV/movie journey.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I want to answer your question about men or women dating each other with kids, right? And
Okay.
this is always a conversation I have with my boys from time to time. I'm a single man. You know, And for me, I just can't date a woman with a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because for me personally, like I always just wanted to experience that, that us raising our child, together, that we'll learn everything together about changing pampers or going to the doctor together. I feel like whenever the woman's already going to have a kid, she's already experienced all that I'm looking to try and experience with her. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel Ian's pain about the situation. I mean, we saw in the finale that, you know, he wants a child, but Megan is like, well, Megan's character is more like career driven. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, I mean that definitely can cause a bad, messy breakup.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What's your
yeah.
question?
Say that again.
You said you had a question?
No, no, no. I saw you propose that question
Oh,
in the chat. I wanted to come on camera and discuss that part right
I feel
there.
like I'm the worst person because like I feel you and I know that like when that happens, hold on, let me make sure everybody can hear it. So let me double check really quick. Okay, they can. Um, I know that like when guys say that, it becomes a thing, and sometimes it can get like lumped into the devaluing of women based off of certain lived experience or whatever. But I get it, and like I openly just said, like I don't want to date or marry a man who already has kids. So like I can't. I personally can't be mad at someone else who's also saying that. I think it's also different though when we're having this conversation of like I don't have children and you don't have children. So like people can say that, but I think it gets weird just to like add a little nuance and be clear of like we understand the full context of the conversation. I think it gets weird when people do have kids and they like certain have a different preference or whatever. It's just like,
Yeah.
all right, you can't actually say this. But like it's almost like you want someone to come to the table how you're coming to the table so that you can
Right.
feel equally yoked.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
is yours is yours just because you want to like learn and do everything first together? That's the
Yeah.
only thing.
That's my thing right there. And plus, I don't want to get tied up in the whole baby mama, baby dad drama. You got to be cool with the other parent. You know what I'm saying? So not only you have to build a relationship with the person that you're dating, but at the same time you got to build a relationship with, their former ex
Yeah,
as well. Because you want to make sure everybody is on good terms. You don't want no beef, no drama, nothing like that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I feel you. I feel you, and it's interesting because when you have the conversation, are you told that that can't happen? Because I get told endlessly, well, Erica, you're in your 30s. Like, what do you mean you want a man with no kids? Ain't no man for you with no kids.
well, I mean,
That is literally the response.
what everybody's saying now is, the dating pool is so horrible, so you're bound to be with someone with a child. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, come on, y'all, come on, come on, come on. It can't be that. It's bad, but come on, it's not that bad now.
I was just wondering if your homies said like, oh no, you're gonna be with someone with a kid because that's something that women get told.
Mm, I mean, I had one that said it before, but it ain't something that I think about. I mean, we always can say one thing, but we never know what's gonna
Yeah,
happen down the road.
yeah. So if you were in, what would you do?
My boy Ian. Then it came all the way this far. He broke up with the old girl, the Middle Eastern chick. I can't think of her name right now.
Mira.
Yeah, they called that off, only to find out, about the egg situation and all that. Man, if I'm in his shoes, to be honest with you, it depends on how much you love the girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're
Mm-hmm.
willing to go, I feel like this is like going to the ends of the earth type relationship. You know what I'm saying? If it's that
Mm-hmm.
deep, you'll try to make it work. But
Okay.
if it's just, that I just want to be a dad on my own and this ain't gonna work out, gotta cut him off, I
So
guess.
what would you do?
Yeah, so if I'm in Ian's shoes, I'm
You
sorry,
would.
ladies. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so like this also came to mind while you were talking, and like I guess this like piggybacks off of what you were talking about because it's one thing if she says I don't want
Yeah.
kids, but what if it comes back that she literally cannot have them?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, if it's in a if I was in that, situation, I would look at adoption. I still want to be with the woman,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? But if I find out that she can have kids, we'll look into adoption.
Okay. What if she didn't want to adopt?
Well, it's probably over with, if I'm being honest.
I just think that that's interesting because he was all for being with her with the understanding that she potentially couldn't have kids.
Right.
But I guess that was really with the contingency of like, okay, there's still hope, we can still figure something out.
Hmm.
I think for me, like at bare bones of it, it's like you okay with not having kids if she's like physically, biologically not able to do so. But if she chooses not, you're gonna walk away. Now I'm just kind of like, the math ain't all the way mathing. But I
Right.
guess the other part of that is just like maybe convincing her to adopt and like surrogacy and all of that.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
that,
hopefully, yeah, I was gonna say, hopefully, they can come to a good, compromise at the end of the day. Like they can meet somewhere in the middle.
yeah,
Is that possible?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have kids, and I have not been presented with this. I also do want to have children,
Yeah.
so I'm not of the mind of like, oh, I don't want to have kids. And I know there are a lot of women who today are like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but I really just got to a place, honestly, where I want to have kids, but I no longer regard my life as like a failure if I don't have kids. Like
I
that's
mean, look at Tracy Ellis Ross for an example. She's what, 50, never have kids, and she's content with not, you know, having children.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of women in the spotlight who haven't.
Hmm.
Some because they just weren't able to, some because they chose not to. I, for a very, very long time, pedestalized motherhood. Like, if I don't do this,
Mm.
then I won't be worth anything. Like, my life would have been in vain, basically. And I literally, in the last 6 months, have like unpacked that ideology and like got to the place of like, girl, be for real. Because look at where we are, look at where we're living, look at how the world is. You've also done so many other amazing things, and this isn't the only thing that can make or break your value to this earth.
Yeah, I think.
Which I think is a conversation.
Yeah, I think society, you know, tells people, um, especially women, for example, that, oh, by 35, you should already have had your kids by now. You know what I'm saying? When you're getting towards 35, 40, you're going to be, and I hate to say it, like washed up or something like that. It'd be like, no
Mm-hmm.
man is going to want you. And I just think that, women each and every day, like on Harlem, they're constantly breaking societal norms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we have to give ourselves permission to do so. I think for me, the conversation around like value and like having kids and motherhood also was piggyback with the idea of like, I have to also be married. Like, I am not settling. Like, way too many people in this life have settled for what they could get.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like really, really resolved. And like, if I'm not getting what I actually want and deserve, I'm gonna be good on my own. Like, I promise you, life is not that damn bad. And even that, it took a lot to unpack of like, girl, if you die alone, you won't actually even be alone, because I have so many like meaningful relationships and platonic love in my life that
Right.
I'm gonna be actually okay if the extraordinary Negro that I'm hoping for never comes across my path.
Yeah. I
And
mean, my theory has always been, you know, you wouldn't settle on your food, right? Like if you order steak at a restaurant, you want it to be well done, and they didn't cook it well done, you're going to ask that waitress, "Hey, there's something wrong with my steak. I asked for it to be well done. I'm not going to settle for a bloody steak." So you shouldn't settle for a potential bad relationship. You know?
yeah, and I think Quinn's journey was very interesting, or at least where she arrived at the very end. because I feel like I'm already living where she's about to start living, which is really cool that they were able to show that. Like, in the idea of like not settling, people really gotta unpack, like, you're really gonna relegate yourself to a miserable life, getting cheated on, continuing to struggle financially or mentally, or like
Yeah.
all of the things that could come with that's like you don't want and that you will be settling for, all so that you can avoid
Hmm.
a good life with yourself. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. And I think that when that clicked for me, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not ever settling. Like, bro, you already eat well. You already like live in a place that's like, you got space and like you are free to do whatever the hell you want. Like, you have so much. In what world would you put yourself in this goofy ass box just so that you can say that you next to somebody's son that you halfway like, all to experience life for the next 50 years, less than what you were just experiencing? Like, absolutely not.
Yeah. I was kind of confused about, the Quinn situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, it seemed like they was, past lovers, right? And I thought that this is going to be the one that's going to, sweep her off her feet, but she wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of caught me by surprise.
Why?
I just feel like he was like legit, like he was a good dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
and like men know when other men are good dudes. You know what I'm saying? And I I don't know what's gonna happen for her next, as far as love, because we've seen her, you know, try other women. For example, we saw this guy right here, her real life husband. So I don't know. I'm wondering where they're going to take her storyline as far as her finding love.
So you wanted her to stay in that situation because he's a good dude.
Was it bad though? I
I'm
felt like he.
asking. Like, I'm asking.
I mean, I thought the brother was was legit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, at least she didn't take the first guy. I can't think of the guy, but the guy with the uh, what's his name? I can't think of that one guy who her mama tried to hook her up with
Oh,
at the golf course. Yeah,
Angie's man.
yeah. At least she didn't settle. Now that's that. Now that's settling. That's settling right there.
So the thing about Quinn's story, and I'm so glad that you brought this up and we can have this dialogue in this open way. It's not about the guy. You can have the right guy come to you at the wrong time. And for Quinn, everything has been pointing to this girl does not love herself.
Mm,
This girl does not value herself. She does not
mm,
value her time. She does not value her body. She does not value her mind. She
yeah.
does not see the full value of that. So whether they are clicking and it works and he's great, there's nothing that man will be able to give her to fill up her cup enough for them to be in a healthy relationship, because she's so devoid of herself. So her making the decision at the end to put herself in a position to focus on and love herself is so that she can come into whatever happens, whether it's going back to this guy or anybody else in the future, come into that situation with them whole herself. Because if she would have stayed in that space with him and allowed him to love on her and allowed him to be a great guy, she would have ultimately wound up ruining it and jading him, because he could only do but so much and she was lacking of
Mm.
herself. I've had a bunch of conversations.
Well, yeah, you definitely opened up my eyes right there, because that kind of flew,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, like over
Yeah.
my head right there, and now it makes sense about what you're saying. Right guy, just a wrong timing, potentially.
Yeah. And it's for her, but then also for him. Like, she's also doing him a favor and like not putting him through everything that she's basically put everybody else through, because she's not at a place that she needs to be personally.
Mm, mm,
And I think that part is like, okay, if that's what we had to do to get here for Quinn, fine. Even though she stressed my ass out with all of this back and forth that she's experiencing, because I think that that's a really great conversation to have. And honestly, I want more men to see that, because I think, and I'm saying I think with the clear understanding of, like, I'm not saying that I know. I am literally saying from my perspective, you can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that a lot of men look at love as this linear thing, and there's so many like caveats and nuances that also have to happen along your journey of love, and most of it's within yourself. And the same way that Quinn wasn't dealing with it with herself, there's a lot of men who don't either. So like, you come into relationships and you think that like provide and do this and do that, and then that should be good enough, but like your emotional intelligence is not there, your effective communication is not there, your self-validation is not there, so you're desperately needing of this woman to like validate you, to help push you out in the world. And it's like, yes, you can get some of these things from somebody else, but if you are not solid in who you are as a person, you really need to not be with another person, because you're going to be seeking everything that you need from yourself from somebody else.
Yeah.
And even if they do it for a little bit, nobody will be able to sustain that.
Do I need to put a $20 bill in the collection plate?
No, I appreciate you though, like coming on so I can like actually have these thoughts and ideas to bounce off of you. Because that's the conversation that I be wanting to have with men all the time. It's like, you see a girl that like looks great and could be really cool, but like, let's go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper.
We gotta peel back the layers sometimes.
Yeah. And it's very interesting. I don't know what your experience is like currently being single and like pursuing dating, but like, I'm that girl. Like, I'm the peel back the layer girl. And guys get frustrated with me, and I'm just like, well, go ahead and get frustrated and teeter away, because if you can't give me certain things, or if you can't tell me, you know, where you're at emotionally, or if you can't speak in this way, that already tells me that you're not it, baby. You're not it. And that's okay too. Like, one of the things that keeps coming up for me in being single and open to dating, because I was for a very long time, I was single and like, hell no, don't look at me, don't come my way, don't say hello, I don't want nothing to do with none of you Negroes. That was me for a very long time. But now I'm open to it. It's for me, like, it's okay if we connect and then once further questions are asked, we don't align. Or once, like, or a feeling or a vibe comes and we don't align. Like, too many people, I feel like, are so thirsty for partnership that they want to link. And it's not a bad thing if we don't actually align. And if we figure that shit out early, like, sir, I'm not here to play games with you. I got things to do.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This isn't like what I actually want to be spending my time doing. I actually would like to be having meaningful conversations and like doing other things. And I've experienced guys who like just get real aggressive or real off put because I'm like, oh no, I just don't think that we align. Once I see certain things, it's just like, well, you think you better than me, or you, and it's like, no, I just think that we don't align.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes the vibe is just not there. You thought it was going to be there, but unfortunately, you know, it's just not there, you know? And a lot of times men, you know, we shoot ourselves in the foot a lot of times while saying the wrong things at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? Or talk ourselves out of, you know, certain situations, you know? Sometimes we are our own worst. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy as men, and then we get upset, and then try to deflect it onto the woman. But we should be upset at ourselves, you know.
Come on. Okay, so what is your, if you don't mind sharing, what is your experience with rejection? Because I would like to kind of understand what is the thing that like frustrates men so bad when you get to the point of like, oh yeah, like I'm okay, I don't want to, we don't have to continue. Like, what is the thing you with rejection?
It's a communication. You know what I'm saying? It's like whenever, y'all are constantly communicating, then she shuts down or she doesn't want to open up anymore, that's when I know something is, wrong. And as a man, you know, we always had this one theme song that we always go to. It's called "You Got It Bad" by Usher. You know what I'm saying? And as men, yeah, we do. It does hurt. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you're pursuing a woman and she may not like you back, you know, and you just gotta pick up the pieces of the puzzle and take it one day at a time.
Have you, and again, if you feel like sharing,
Oh no,
have,
I'm open book. I'm a communicator, so it's all good.
have you experienced feelings of like wanting to still pursue this thing or pursue a woman after she made it clear that she's not necessarily interested? And if so, what was the driving factor behind that?
Yeah, I mean, this literally happened to me about a year and a half ago. There's a girl that I met in college, and we reconnected on Instagram a couple years ago. And one of my boys told me, "Oh yeah, she's still single. It didn't work out with her and her old dude." So I was like, "Okay, cool." I said, "I think I'm gonna try to pursue it." You know what I'm saying? And everything was going good, But I think I said something that I might have should never said. Like I said, I said earlier about shooting herself in the foot.
Wait, what
I,
did you say?
I just said her. I just said, I'm much better than your older man, your other man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, how can you compare to me? You know what I do. Hey, Denzel said I'm leaving here with something. You know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you know me. Like you know who I am as a man. You know what I bring to the table. You know,
Wait, why did you feel the need to say that?
because I felt like he was still in the picture, and I need to mark my territory as the lion of the jungle.
Shout out to you for being honest. Okay.
I'm just keeping it a
I,
thousand.
I appreciate it. Okay,
You know what I'm
continue.
saying? But
And then after that,
yeah, I mean, I was at the point of, I was, ready to send flowers to her job. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be like a surprise. Like I was ready to go all out. She didn't even live in my same town. She lived like an hour away. And I told my boy, he's like, "You willing to manage?" I said, "Yeah, it's just an hour. It's nothing, right?" But she didn't want me the way I wanted her.
mm-hmm.
You know, so it was heartbreak hotel for sure. But you know, we just gotta keep trucking. Unfortunately, I really fell head over heels for her. But
Question.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Miss Erica Vane TV.
Were you okay? I'm trying to figure out how to word this. When you decided to shift gears after you made that statement, you wanted to back it up. What gear would you say that you was in before you did that?
Oh, I was wow, wow, good question. You got me stumbling right now. Uh, you got me stumbling. I guess you could say I was too hot headed in the situation. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I need to have more of a calm demeanor. I'm usually pretty calm, but you know, I just went over the top, unfortunately. You know,
Okay. And then in your interactions with her, where were y'all? So like on a scale of 1 to 10 in effort, and let's say that after you made the statement and marked your territory, I'm assuming that the actions that followed that was a 10. Is
hmm
that correct?
correct.
Where were
Yep.
you before you made that statement?
I was on an eight.
So my question for the fellas, including Lawrence, is why in the hell did competition need to present itself for you to not be operating optimally from the beginning?
you know how it was a situation similar to Ian and the other dude. I can't think of his name right now. You know, yeah, Ian was like, "Yo, as long as you work with him on the grant, we cool." You know what I'm saying? But in the back of Ian's mind, he's like, "Dude is still there in the shadow." You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And that kind of threw me for a loop because the way she was talking, it was like, well, I've already I made my decision. I'm gonna. She it, she was talking as if she was already leaning towards me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, well, I'm good. I'm in the good now. But I guess I
But
wasn't.
my thing is like if there was still more that you could do as a woman, I'm just like, not you pulling up all the stops because you think now that there's competition. Why weren't the stops pulled before? Like the extraordinary Negro that I move forward with, and like even go into dating, which is like it's so interesting when I think about my whole life, specifically my romantic
Well,
life, and
well,
like,
well. I was already pulling out stops, right?
uh-huh.
But I took it even further when I feel like he still could be somewhere in the background. You know what I'm saying?
But
So
that's my thing. It's like you did say she was at an 8, right? So you wasn't, bumming it or anything. So cool. But like what is understood don't need to be said. And it would have been understood had you already been doing it. Like the dude that pursues me, he gonna have to come with it and keep coming with it. Like he's gonna have to like give it and
hmm
sustain it. And I don't want to hear no shit about, well, what about your best friend? And what about this? And what about that? Because in the time that you have and my attention that you have, what are you finna do with it, sir? Because
yeah,
that's the energy I got. Like when I actually give a damn, because that also takes a lot. When I actually give a damn and I'm putting my energy into somebody, you finna you finna feel it. Like you like, wait, what the hell is she on?
mm,
Because also the way I move in life is like I really try to be intentional and present wherever I'm at. So I'm not waiting for like, oh, his ex-girlfriend might be, let me go do something. It's like, you gonna take this or you not.
yeah,
And I think that that's a very interesting thing that I'm seeing now with dating as well, because a lot of people are like holding back and like, I'm gonna get this, but I ain't gonna do this. And it's like, well, how the hell am I supposed to know if I'm actually gonna vibe with you? How am I supposed to know if our lives are actually going live if you giving me 25% of what you say that the life is gonna be like? Like you gonna have to show me versus telling me, and I'm gonna show the person.
yeah.
So, fellas, if you out there, if you listening, I might be inclined to tell your ass to floor it up front. Show what you got up front, and
Yeah.
also like don't be worried about like giving too much to a woman or like feeling like you got played. Because I feel like we need to come into things being ourselves, right? Like if it's in you to want to give to somebody, then give to somebody, regardless of if they give back to you. You wanted to do it, so
Mm-hmm.
like you didn't lose nothing in being true to yourself.
Right. Right.
Put it out there, and then we can best assess. Like, yeah, this is, I can rock with this, or no, I can't. I can match his energy, or no, I can't. But we out here faking the funk and half-assing it. Not you, but like I've experienced. Like dudes are like way half-assing it. It's like you think I'm gonna answer the phone, so I'm not going nowhere with you. This is what you said, and like I'm. What in the hell would I walk into some clusterfuck shit? Like, and this, like, no, you have shown me the bare minimum,
Right.
and you think I'm gonna go somewhere with you?
Mm.
Absolutely
Mm.
not.
This dating
Sorry.
scene is tough out here, Erica. It's
Oh, you
different
ain't
out
have
here.
to tell me. I
Hey,
know.
hey, look, I can't imagine what's like in LA. A lot of times, I just be thinking like LA. Not saying everybody, but sometimes when I think about LA, I think about the superficial part
Mm-hmm.
of dating. You know what I'm saying? That people may not want to date you unless you are driving a Benz or if you got connections in Hollywood or you can get Laker tickets here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like or due to your connections or popularity. You know,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you can. I'm pretty sure you can tell a difference with the dating in LA versus dating back in Baltimore. You
Oh,
know.
for sure. For sure.
Hmm. Well, I won't take too much of your time. I know you got to talk about Bel Air. I haven't
Yes.
seen it yet, so I gotta make a royal exit. I'm about to check it out actually.
Okay.
Um, yes, I was
Go ahead.
see, I was
So,
watching Outer Banks earlier tonight, so
oh,
I got like,
I've never watched it.
whoo, Outer Banks is
I
amazing,
heard
amazing.
great things about it. Well, thank you, Lawrence, for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. I will be seeing you. I'll come online whenever All American comes back as well.
Okay.
All right
See
then, Erica.
you then. Bye.
All right.
Hey, Tamara. LA is very Hollywood, but their attitudes are. Shout out to Lawrence. Thank you for jumping in. I love. I want more men to watch the show because I want to have certain conversations. And I love being able to do so and like bounce ideas and get a different perspective. Um, Harlem is a really great show. If y'all missed it, if y'all haven't seen it, you please go and check it out. All 8 episodes of season 2 are now streaming. Season 1 had 10 episodes, so there's 18 episodes if you've never come across the show. But if you haven't seen season 2, it's 8 episodes. Go ahead and check it out. Oh, I didn't know you were in South LA, Tamara. That's dope. Naya. All right, y'all. We were just talking about Harlem. I'm about to transition into talking about Bel-Air. Is there anything else that we missed? Let me go check the chat and see. What if the guy you meet is? Oh, I already did that. That's your choice. That's your choice. Money Green Tay says, I have a son, and that's going to be my only child because I don't want to have on too many baby mothers. So what if you Tay, what if you get with someone who doesn't have kids and she wants to have kids? Are you not gonna have kids with her? If she doesn't have kids? Keish says, yes, self-love is needed before seeking any relationship. And that's the Keish, that's the thing that I wish they would tell us. They needed to tell us that younger. Because we out here trying to align with people. We out here trying to get into relationships immediately, and whole time we're just seeking and needy and like, and not needy in a bad way, but like seeking all of this stuff that we need to ultimately find within ourselves first. But that's not the thing that we get told. And I also am like starting to really get frustrated with a lot of the shows that we're watching because they ain't even showing any of this on the shows either. And then we wonder why we're caught in these little cycles in this way. Naya, are you gonna come on here and share any of your thoughts about Harlem, child? Bam, before I move on to Bel-Air. Me, Naya, and Melissa be talking about all the shows on the back end. Keisha, you like Outer Banks too? I feel like they have like I think I tried to go and watch it, but I think I saw like they have like 5 seasons or something, and I was just like, yeah, I cannot jump in. I started watching You, and I'm finally on season 2 of it, and that has like 4 seasons. So like when I'm like too far behind, I'm just like, oh, child, maybe in another life. Yes, girl. If you want to hop on real quick before we wrap it up and then move on to a conversation about Bel-Air, please do. Outer Banks has like 5 seasons. Keish. See, I can't get with it. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much.
Ooh, not me being specifically requested.
Your presence has been requested. Come on, Bridgerton. Oh wait. It's like it's buffering. Hold on. Come on, Naya. I'm gonna need you to get this internet together, boo. Hold on, y'all. Naya's coming on. Oh, let me get this off my face while we're at it. Okay, let me try cancel that, and then accepts. Now you might gotta go out and come back in because it's being weird.
Yo, I don't know what happened. I'm such a granny. I was here and then I wasn't here.
I cannot. No worries. No worries at all.
Okay, full disclosure, I just popped in and I knew you were doing this live a couple hours ago, but so I know you guys have been talking about Harlem.
Yes.
I finished the last two episodes earlier. I was sending them a bunch of videos being annoying. Granny, please excuse me. I was here and then I wasn't here. I'm sorry. Anyway. Okay, full disclosure, I just popped in and I knew you were doing this live a couple hours ago, but so I know you guys have been talking about Harlem. I finished the last two episodes earlier. I was sending them a bunch of videos being annoying in my bed. Girl. Ooh, these last two episodes, I mean, were really good. And there's just a lot with this season in particular. There's a lot of conversations to be had. Camille and Ian, well, I mean, I think that relationship ran its course. I think in terms of, well, okay, so it's interesting because that conversation, I still don't know if Camille like definitively doesn't want kids. So I think that's the thing where it's like, it's one thing to, as a woman, to be like, okay, well, I'm not really feeling like this connection. And I mean, that could be like a multitude of different things. Like, I think her career has taken a new shape and a new form over this season. And I think things with her mom, obviously, you know, seem like they are getting to a different place. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of components with Camille's journey right now where I'm still not sure if she's completely like, I don't want kids. And then we also don't know who's pregnant at the end of the season. So if it is her, well, girl, you don't got no choice.
They think that Camille might be having a moment of like, oh, I don't want kids anymore because of her trauma with her mom.
That's an interesting take. I don't know. Because for me, like, I think it really would be dope to, like, have a female character on the show or just in general, because I don't think we see it a lot where a woman's just like, yeah, I'm okay with being the cool auntie. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, like, a queer character like Ty, who, I mean, obviously her viewpoint changed and she was like, I'm going to freeze my eggs. So it could be a possibility with her. But just, I guess, in the sense of, like, it would be nice to just see more female characters be like, yeah, I don't really think I want kids. It's not for me, because I think that's completely valid. And I think there's a lot of women who just don't want kids. It's just not they don't have a connection with it. So
my only issue with that is like they didn't show us that with Camille's character. They're going to do that. Give me that before we are confronted with this in this way, so that it looks like it's actually a decision versus a knee-jerk reaction to certain things.
Right. So that's the caveat. So for me, it's like, if she is going to go down this path of like, I don't want kids, and I think that needs to be more solidified in the future. Because like I said, it still felt like she's like, okay, well, I don't know if I want kids in this moment. And that could be, like you said, a knee-jerk reaction from the conversation with her and Angie. But yeah, like that's Camille just always felt like someone who wanted all of that. So I do understand what you're saying, where it's kind of like, okay, girl, like, what's going on? Like, we want to be here with you because it's valid if you really just don't feel it, but also there's been no build up to that. So I think we'd have to see more. And like I said, especially if she is the one who's pregnant.
And the thing that I've seen built up for is her like consistently choosing her career, even when it's moments where she feels like her career isn't choosing her. So and like seeing her finally get a win with this project and like get on people's radar in reference to new opportunities. It looks like the dean is going to still ask her to stay at Columbia because now all of a sudden she's on board with her. I'm like, I don't know if I believe that you really don't want kids. I think that you like consistently sacrifice a lot in your life for this career. But what scares me about that, because that's very real. There's plenty of us who have done it, who are currently doing it. I'm hell-bent on like not being a single mama and like not being a baby mama, and there's no shade to any single moms or baby moms, but like that's just not what I want for myself, and I make decisions accordingly.
Right.
I think with Camille, it's something to explore for her in reference to how she's choosing her career and sacrificing everything else, but then still making certain decisions that doesn't have her show up fully within her career. So like when what's Whoopi's character's name? The dean.
Which ones?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whitley.
Pruitt. Dr.
Dr. Pruitt. Dr. Pruitt.
Like, I would love you to sign off on me, getting tenure. And then Dr. Pruitt lays out all the ways in which she has not done the work to actually deserve this job. I'm like, girl, you didn't get in a taxi to go to Paris 4 years ago because you were dead serious about your damn job. What the hell you been doing? So I'm also like, at what point do we cut the bullshit with ourselves? And like, yeah, you could want this thing with this career, but we are also accountable to ourselves to say, like, I'm also not making decisions that's going to move me forward in this. So how much more am I going to hold myself back in other areas of my life while also not doing what I need to do in this area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I brought up just an idea that the way she sort of pivoted from the subject of like the project that her and Jameson were working on, like it was about motherhood to begin with, and then she pivoted to Black Joy, which I loved that concept, but it also felt like that would have even been interesting for her to stick with, because then if she did sort of in that unpacking that, if she found out then or was able to make the connection then of like, yeah, I don't really think that motherhood is for me, and I don't think it's the path for me. And then she could have even like explored more with her mom, because I don't think we've had a lot of that either. I think that would have been a good gateway where we both could be like, okay, we understand this sort of these feelings of like maybe you not wanting kids, and maybe she could have just been more solidified in it, like I don't want kids, instead of it being like this open door of like we still don't know. Because now it just kind of feels like it's a knee-jerk reaction to, I don't, maybe it's not even about kids, and more like, I don't know if it's, she didn't feel like maybe subconsciously it wasn't the right situation with Ian. Like, I don't know, it just makes me wonder if she used that as a way, and her career as a way to be like, I don't really know if this is the right situation.
I mean,
I don't know.
Puerto Rico could really put things in perspective too, of like Camille's a runner. So like the first time that they went to Puerto Rico was because she wanted to quit grad school the moment she got accepted. And we saw her walk away from the relationship with Ian when he's about to propose and they're about to go to Paris and do certain things. So like as things start to shift and seemingly go in a more positive or progressive way, we've seen documented history with her behavior of her choosing to run. So personally, it also kind of feels like that at the very end of like, okay, you got this one win in this one area, but again, you ran from actually diving into the conversation around motherhood and unpacking all of whatever could come up for you with that. And then now you're running from the conversation or from the idea of you actually wanting kids, and when it has never come up before. I think the one that I'm starting to see, because I think there's so much content right now being created from childless people and mothers, and they're like going at it on TikTok specifically. And one of the things that I feel like that is a prevailing theme is like the people who are childless have known, and they made a decision, and they can speak to that decision. And I'm like, I don't have that for you. I don't have that point of reference for this to be a real thing, something that is now a core value of hers. Because it feels very much so for women who make that decision, it feels very much so like a core value, intentional decision. With Camille, it doesn't feel like that yet.
No, because even in the dialogue when she was talking to Quinn's mom, it was more like, me and Ian always talked about it. So it was something that at some point, it's something it seems like you wanted. Or if you didn't, like it's sort of missing in the dialogue, or just Camille's trajectory in this season, leading up to this point, like this realization that maybe she doesn't want kids. Like, it's just sort of it hasn't been there. and what we've seen from Camille. So even if she has been maybe subconsciously even feeling like, you know, maybe not that connection to motherhood, we didn't necessarily, like us as the audience didn't see that until she was told that it was going to be harder for
and even
her.
like even the setup to that, like the moment where the episode where Ian was teaching Angie how to ride the bike, and we get that glimpse of like her seeing how Ian is interacting with Angie, and she has a moment of like what seemingly like pride and excitement. It's like, well, what the hell is that, girl? What is that?
Right. 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 So that's that's definitely the caveat with Camille. But I feel like the reason why I say Camille and Ian, I feel like it might have run this course this time. Like, I don't know if they can necessarily spin the block from this, because I feel like she's already put it out there. Not to say that you can't, like, you know, things happen, you can always try again, but I feel like for some reason watching Camille and Ian this season, I felt like this was like their last chance to really figure out if it was going to work. And I feel like we've had conversations about this off, like, you know, off air, in terms of just seeing certain things in Camille and Ian's relationship this time around, where it's like, okay, well, time has passed. You guys have both been through your own experiences separately since the first time. So we kind of should be at a different place in terms of how you guys are moving with each other. And it felt very much like, I don't know, maybe old elements from their past relationship were still there, in terms of like Camille not communicating, and then Ian seems like the communication's off, and then I don't know. Now it's like we're at a place where they want fundamentally two different things. That's how it appears. So I don't know if they can necessarily like spin the block later and Camille maybe magically is like, oh, I want kids again, or that, but that depends on if she's the one who's pregnant. But I feel like I don't know why I feel like it's not her, but it wouldn't necessarily be a bad story if it was her either. So I don't know. That's the whole thing. I'm like speaking in hypotheticals because we don't know who's pregnant. So I don't know. But in terms of Camille and Ian, I don't know. I felt like it was kind of final, and I was okay with it in my spirit. I don't know why. Because then also, not even like making Camille's thing about two men, because it doesn't even necessarily have to be about Ian or Jameson. But if she's gonna be with the man, I don't know. Just seeing her and Jameson, I was just like, I don't know. Sometimes it's that easy. Like I sent you guys, or I sent it and then it unsent. But I was like, finding out what actually happened with her and Jameson, that they literally just fell asleep. I was like, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes it's not that hard with somebody. And I don't know, like, it's something with her and Jameson that's like freer and more lighter, because there's not that added baggage of like extra history that you have to like kind of maneuver and navigate, and you're trying not to make the same mistakes as before. So I don't know. In terms of who she ends up with, I don't know if she can necessarily, her and Ian can try again. So
no, that's
in that
a lot
sense
to think
with Camille.
about.
We'll see.
I love the way that you think.
Yeah.
I mentioned this earlier, but for me, it's like Camille has Ian or Jameson. Ian just has Camille. So like he's starting completely over. So I could see it not being as easy for him. And I could see the spinning the block happening simply because this is all he knows. He is yet to fall in love with another person.
That makes sense. Definitely.
But I don't know.
And then who knows? Like I said, like if she ends up being the one who's pregnant, then you know, that could be the sort of gateway. But if she's not, then I don't know. But it would be interesting, like you said, like we haven't seen him actively in love with anyone else but Camille. So it would be very easy. And she also loves him. Like the love didn't just evaporate just because, you know, we both have this fundamental difference.
Right.
But
so you're probably gonna see this if you go back and rewatch, but I want to stop talking about this because Lawrence like completely gave me the layup to have a conversation that I just so adore having, specifically with males. And he was like, he was kind of lost in reference to why Quinn chose to do what she did at the very end. And I use it as the segue into like, we got to be whole people before we come into relationships. And she basically spared that man because of all of the things that we saw. Now he's not going to be subjected to, because she's taking the time to do what she needs to do to cultivate self-love and self-validation and like all of that. But I thought it was so dope how, honest he was, and like men missed that. And he was like, well, I don't understand, because he's a really great guy. And I was just like, but it's not the right time.
Oh Lord, we're talking about Quinn's ass.
The best thing that she did this entire season was decide to be alone.
Was the best thing. Because when I tell you y'all was hollering through this phone screen, poor Erica and Melissa child. I was sitting here watching like the second to last episode, and I was like, I've had it. I was like, this is the trigger for me. Like, this is the buildup of a lot of just BS with the TV of it all. And I was like, I'm about to just jump off the cliff right now. Like, I cannot do it with Quinn anymore, just for the simple fact of like, you root for characters, and then, sort of their actions or what they're telling you is that, no, we're going to choose misery, and we're going to choose all the things that aren't feeding us in a healthy and happy way. But I'm rooting for you, and I'm, trying to be on this ride with you for you to get it together. And then you're telling me no, like, just sit down and leave me alone. And I felt like that was what Quinn was doing in the second to last episode, with her just jumping into yet another relationship, and her constant fixation on people and like wanting to be with someone. And she actually says it in the dialogue, and that's what like really was a trigger for me, because I was like, okay girl, so you know that this is a problem, and we're just gonna do it because you just gonna do it anyway. And I was just like, okay, so girl, I'm gonna hop off the train while it's moving, because I can't do this with her anymore. But then also she pissed me off with Angie, and it felt like she was being a hater at the beginning of the last episode. And I was like, girl. But then we get to the end, and I was like, okay, finally, like, I can take a breath with Quinn. And if they get renewed, hopefully they do. I feel like they will. It'll be interesting to see what her journey of self-love looks like. And it's a journey that I can finally get behind, because it's not attached to anybody or anything. And just like, everything that happens next is based off of you, like, feeding yourself.
Can you like Quinn before you want everybody else to like her?
Right. And what does that look like? Really, just without like other people, like, as much as you love your girls, without them, without your mom and that relationship, and your parents, like, and without, the romance, like, what does it just look like to sit with Quinn? So that was like the best thing, for her to just be like, no, we can't do this. I can't do it again. I was like, thank you, Lord. Because I think I had just kind of tuned out with Quinn. Like, I was like, girl, I don't care where the hell you end up at the end of the season, honestly. Like, I give it up. I was like, girl, what's Angie doing? What's Ty gonna do? What's Camille gonna do? Because Quinn, I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, you could just stay in your room in the dark and just sit there, because and she was really like, she saved herself for me by just deciding to sit her ass down and choose herself, even though it was her husband in real life. She was like, no, man, no, sir, I can't do it. So, but that is interesting to hear from a male's perspective. And yes, to Lawrence watching Harlem. Because, I love that for him.
Kobe and Antonio, hopefully y'all see this in the ether at some point. Once y'all finally watch it, I'm calling y'all ass out. Y'all don't listen, and you haven't watched it, and I'm mad about it.
Shaking my head. Do better. Do better. But yeah, that is very interesting that he specifically said, like, men don't necessarily see that aspect of it. Because I think for men, our sort of, I'm gonna say it, I don't care, like, sort of our self-worth as women, and sort of just, I think, the image of us in males' perspectives, it's like all connected to men. So every choice that we make, all the feelings that we have, certain things that we do, the way that we move is attached to y'all. So in the moment where we're like, you know, maybe choosing ourselves and detaching ourselves from that standard of men, it's, you know, I don't think they know how to process that.
Yeah, it does.
If that makes sense.
It does. I appreciate him actively like
very
saying
honest,
it, like being able to start the process of even hearing a different perspective and processing it with me.
Yeah, it was really dope. I saw the tail end of it and I was like, shout out to Lawrence.
Oh, wait, what were we about to say?
No, nothing. Because those are the two main things. I don't know if there's...
that's pretty much it. Camille and Quinn. Angie slayed the season. I already broke it down. This was her season. That's all. Ty,
she owned it. She owned
it. Shout
out. She was a mess, though. Ty's shit is a mess. Sorry to curse. I'm just like, Lord have mercy. I don't know.
Ty, okay, bro. We're gonna be sad to see how you get out of this one. Okay.
I can't. And then Angie, I don't know your thoughts of like her and Mike, but I really love them together. But I also just like him getting down on one knee and proposing. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm scarred about like how fast things move. I don't know what the time frame is, but I'm just like, can we just like slow it down? Like, can we just be boyfriend and girlfriend? Please. It's okay.
Now. Can we do that?
Yeah, so
well,
that's my thought.
Take them, friend.
I gotta mute you because you just chuckling. I am now going to talk about Bel-Air. Y'all, I have some struggles when it comes to Bel-Air. The first episode was amazing. Well, not amazing. Like, Erica, not too much. I'm trying to prep y'all for where I'm about to go. And we're not going to do too much. We're not going to do too much. The first episode was good. I think I'm going to go through and, like, just, I guess, talk about my thoughts. Will, at the start of the episode, is out of the house and bumming it with Jazz, but feeling the Philly vibes because he's in South LA and he done found his home and his people, right? Cool. Uncle Phil is still raggedy as hell. I said what I said. All you black men who like love Uncle Phil, keep loving him. Just because Erica can't rock with him don't mean that you can't rock with him. And I'm talking to you, Kofi. Love on Uncle Phil all the hell that your ass will like, but his ass is raggedy. The way that he spent most of this episode unable to simply apologize to any of the black men that mean the most to him, and that is Will, and that is Jeffrey. It was pure, unadulterated clownery. He was running around like a damn buffoon in Bel-Air, and I just... But I appreciate it. For the most part, he was the only villain in the episode. And yes, I'm calling him a villain. Yes, I'm being dramatic about it because that's how the hell I feel. The way that this man has seemingly learned nothing from season 1 is beyond me. It is truly beyond me. He had every opportunity to just simply apologize. And honestly, what came up to me is that sometimes when we're in relationship with people, we have to ask ourselves, do I want to win or do I want to be in relationship? Because you're not going to win them all. And when you want to stay in relationship with somebody, you want to keep a bond, you want to keep connection and communication. Sometimes you have to concede because the person, their feelings, their being is more important than winning this goofy ass argument, right? That's just period, like life stuff. Philip, you were also wrong. So, like, you have a problem with apologizing when you're actually wrong in both cases. The way that Jeffrey came in told you information that you needed to know, but you act like your ass wasn't going to use when it comes to Will and what he got going on, because he's still keeping his head on the swivel for you and your damn family and keeping your best interests at heart. He was not actually wrong for giving the boy information that the boy damn asked for, because you were keeping this information as if he is not a coming of age young man who's going to figure this information out anyway. You could have got ahead of it, as Jeffrey warned you, but you wanted to steep into your narcissism, raggedy ass selfish man bag and act like you father knows best and don't know a damn thing. The way that Jeffrey decided to tuck his tail between his legs and say, you know what, regardless of what happened, I understand that certain things within my life is the reason why I responded the way that I did to these situations in your life. I never meant to hurt you. I never meant to cause any harm. And I apologize. And Philip stood his goofy, bald-headed ass up there and just was like, I'm done already. Episode 1. I'm done, y'all. Like, y'all can have Uncle Phil. And it's really a mind for me, because Uncle Phil's Uncle Phil, like James Avery Uncle Phil is Uncle Phil, and then this new Uncle Phil is this, and I'm just like, Erica, how do you hate Uncle Phil this much? But I do. He's a clown. Completely clown. And it's no wonder that Carlton is who he is, even though he's not the villain in this first episode. He's now turned over a new leaf. He now wants to be Robin to Will's Batman. He wants to do what he got to do for Will and all of that. Cool. I'm going to try to section this out, y'all, because the episode was one thing, but then that little raggedy ass trailer that they gave us for the rest of the season was another. And they could have probably kept that trailer, because that trailer literally ruined everything for me. Hey, Justin, y'all, welcome in. You almost at the end of Bel-Air and loving it? Okay. Well, child, it's nothing but spoilers here, so pop back in after you finish. What else? I really enjoyed Hillary's story. However, I kind of wish that we didn't have to go through the lumps and the bumps all the time. Like, girl, Hillary, when Jazz asked to be your man, or y'all to like make it official, why in the hell couldn't we just say yes? Why do we gotta wait for Ivy to push up on his ass? Why do we gotta shuck and jive? Why do we gotta do all of this for you to now realize that what you wanted was right in front of you? Blase, blase. I'm done with us picking struggle, y'all. I'm done with us picking struggle. It's too much. Uncle Phil is a clown, but he fine. I mean, points were made. Points were made, Jess. It is a good looking cast overall. You're right. The whole entire cast is good looking. However, I have no problem drawing the line where you being fine, but I cannot root for you because you raggedy AF. Like, I have no problem throwing a fine ass character away because they're a raggedy person. I'm interested to see where Hillary's story is going to go now that her and Jazz are official and they're going to be moving forward in that regard. But I was also just like, girl, the moment that she was like, oh no, I don't want to ruin this by putting a label on it too soon. I was just like, that is not actually what ruins relationships. Why are we still saying that in the 20th of 2020? Wait, why are we still saying that in 2023? I don't understand. But we got the resolution by the end. I feel like the best moment for me in this episode was Ashley being in class, being taught by the original Ashley, and like getting the foundation laid for their relationship. I am beyond excited to see where that goes, especially with her teacher, Miss Hughes, the original Ashley, being a woman who's pushing her to continue to be curious and explore and to learn and rooting for her. Little hating baby Karen in her class is going to definitely be a problem, but Sarah, right? That is basically the life of a Black American. It happens. I really enjoyed that. I like Ashley's party being a thing that like brought the family back together. It's the place that Will and Uncle Phil finally get to a point where they're able to actually talk, and Uncle Phil actually finally apologizes. And yes, y'all, I'm on his head, even though he apologized by the end because it took him too damn long. I said what I said. And for a second, like a split second, I was cool with like him having a conversation of like, oh, I'm trying to figure out why I can't apologize, but then we didn't get any more processing or language around that. Because, like, sir, we were also trying to figure that out. Maybe that's going to play out in the rest of the season. I doubt it by what we saw in the trailer. And yes, I'm still on his hit because it took him too long, and he still has yet to apologize to Jeffrey. Keish says yes, and OG Ashley. It was dope. Just Danielle says that was very nice. I also like the original ways they bring in the characters we know, like Jackie. Well, just since you brought it up, I don't like Jackie. Will not like Jackie. I don't give a damn what Jackie do on the screen moving forward. She's whack. Her door knockers is too big. She gonna rip her earlobes open. Nothing about you is appealing, girl. They need a do-over. Because it ain't it. I'm glad that you enjoying Jackie, Just Danielle, but I am not. I'm not enjoying it, and I'm not enjoying the setup for it. So I think that this is what's going to be my biggest issue. I don't even know how to really explain this. I've been talking about this with Naya and Melissa since last night. Nia Love says, why the beef for Jackie, Erica? Why do we like her? Let's start there. If you like Jackie, before I say why I don't like Jackie, why do you like Jackie? What about her? What about her introduction? What about her scenes, which is so moving and great that you're 100% on board for? Just saying else says I didn't say I like her. I mean, I like they're bringing them in original ways, so we can't predict. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Yes. Okay, so I'll give them that. Even like Will and Jazz doing their little handshake. I like that, like they're the parts that they are infusing from the original show. It's coming out of not out of nowhere, but they are doing it, like you said, in original ways, which makes it fresh and we're not anticipating it. None of it feels very predictable. I agree. Nia Love says, we don't know her yet, so IDK if I like her yet. Jessica says, I'm trying to remember where I've seen the girl who likes Carlton from. I don't know. I don't recall seeing her. Kenny, Jackie, who? Jackie on Bel-Air. Nia, you got reasons why you? Oh, you say we don't know her yet. Okay. It's immediately a no for me. Pretty much like it was immediately a no for Vanessa when she arrived on All American. I don't care anything about it. Part of it is probably because of my reference to the Jackie character, and the Jackie character to me was really, really, really important in the original Fresh Prince, played by Tyra Banks. I think that, and this is a very tricky conversation to have, but we're gonna have it. I think that when you go about shifting characters culturally, you have to shift a lot of things. Like, you have to be intentional about how you shift things to align with the new cultural identity of the person. I personally don't gravitate towards, and I'm gonna be 100% honest. Whatever this means for you, then this is what this means for you. And like me, don't like me, I don't really care. I don't gravitate to characters who display arrogance or overly confident, who are also propped up by society as better. And then once we get into having a conversation around romance and interracial relationships, I don't gravitate to that specifically, even with that like romance title put on it. So like, we experience within the Black community colorism, texturism, all of these things that like classify women and put or denote value based off of like aesthetics or various things. For them to shift Jackie to be a Latina woman and now to be Will's new love interest, and she's no longer black, but she still has that same arrogance, that same I know I'm the it hits different because we get told in our music, in our media, all over the place that black men prefer Latinas over black women. So to me, it feels a little, I ain't fucking with it because, girl, this attitude coming from a black woman would be completely, it would be received different. The messaging would be a lot different versus coming from you. And I was immediately turned off. Immediately. Because it's literally something that is marketed to us in this way. I'm not rooting for it. I don't actually want to see it. And it's 100% to do with the package that they decided to like package Jackie up in. I'm good. I'm good with seeing some little very petite, good hair. She's not even giving me chola, so it's not like she's like steep in like some type of like, I would have to get a little bit more perspective in reference to where she falls within the like Latin diaspora, because she's not giving me like Mexican chola, like she's not giving me that either. So I'm also looking at her like, girl, why do I care? Why do I care? And she had a couple beats. And I'm supposed to be convinced that like now Will's head over heels, and then jump to the trailer, which honestly the trailer ruined so much for me, y'all. And now I might as well just go ahead and say what I'm going to say. I don't know if I'm going to continue watching Bel-Air. And I was very excited to do so. I was very excited for the show to come back. I think that it is a good show. Don't get me wrong. I think that it's a good show. But in watching last night's episode and watching the trailer that like gave the preview for the rest of the season, I was so triggered to a negative place that for me, I think the best bet is for me not to actually consume this bit of media. And it's a lot of things playing into it. It's not just the Jackie thing. Like, honestly, watching the setup for Jackie and then watching Will's conversation with Lisa took me back to All American, and not in a good way. And right now we're in the thick of it with Damon and Simone and the whole Thea-ness of it all, which is a repeat in certain ways of like the Spencer and Layla and Olivia of it all. And I'm exhausted. I'm tired of seeing it. And the storyline feels very rehashed. Specifically, the dialogue that Will had for Lisa seems so much like what Damon said to Thea, which is fine in its own right. But then to get to the trailer and to see him call Lisa his friend and then kiss Jackie right in front of her, and then to have the context of like, this is who Jackie is in a package and all of that, it's just like, I can't do it. I really just can't. Nia Love says, I believe she's mixed. I saw Jabari and Ali say that she's related to the coach guy. She don't present that way. Just saying else says, I love the callback to the handshake. I'm a super fan of the original show. I can quote full episodes, but mostly the episodes with the original Aunt Viv. Jess Danielle says, I do hate that Jackie isn't from Philly. Yeah. I didn't even get to that part of it. Like, and we're watching a dramatic take on Fresh Prince. And the best part about this series is that they took original elements and did a twist, and they changed up things, and they've been doing it well. It was phenomenal. The first season, it was phenomenal. However, I actually wound up, after I watched the episode, I was so bothered that I started to do research about like what I was feeling, what is actually going on. I wrote in my little media journal. And basically what I was experiencing is called transfer of affection. And with me making the correlation between All American and Bel-Air, and it being a negative one, because it can happen for positive things as well as for negative things, which actually works to Bel-Air's benefit. The first episode of Bel-Air reminded me so much of the All American pilot, which is probably why I got on board so quickly. And it was that the transfer of affection was used in a positive way to help give me a positive correlation to the show and help hook me. Unfortunately, now I'm experiencing it in a negative way, and it's really turning me off. The trailer, and again, this is bigger than the whole Jackie thing. The trailer it showed us Will choosing Doc over his family. It showed us Will choosing Jackie over Lisa, and the optics of that. We see Carlton go back to where he was last season, specifically snorting and like fighting with Will again, or whatever the case might be. Uncle Phil is still jealous, but now he has somebody that he can kind of dangle in front of Viv, and it don't look like he's going to actually push her away. Like, all of it is just like, why do I want to put myself through this? To care about the characters in a way that I do, and then to know that certain things are going to happen, why would I subject myself to this? Kenny Ford says the trailer was really wild. I might have made it to the second episode had I not seen the trailer. I'm not even going to hold you. And honestly, I am blaming the All American universe for my feelings about this, because I also feel at capacity, honestly. Like, I feel like had I not experienced certain things with that show, I could probably tolerate it a little bit more over here. But I cannot come into Bel-Air and think that and be okay with like basically watching the same thing play out that we saw play out in All American. Neil says, I agree. I think it's going to be a wild ride, but Will is going to end up growing a lot, I think. Justin says, I think we're getting a devolving arc for Will, slipping back into his old ways before he grows. So I think he's going to piss us off a lot this season, but I think he will get better by IDK. Maybe. Kofi said, wow, I did not see that coming. Kofi, I was messaging you right after I watched it, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not excited to watch the next episode. I don't feel like I can trust anything and root for anything, and I'm just being like 100% honest with y'all. I just don't. Naya, do you want to share any of your thoughts? Are you still there? Hold on, let me turn my volume back up.
Oh, I didn't know if I should like leave because I'm just like sitting here. I feel bad, like I'm intruding. And plus, I know probably other people want to talk about it. I mean, I don't know.
I just don't. Naya, do you want to share any of your thoughts? Are you still there? Hold on, let me turn my volume back up.
I didn't know if I should pop off because I didn't know if I should like leave because I'm just like sitting here. I feel bad, like I'm intruding. And plus, I know probably other people want to talk about it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's interesting in terms of the only thing I do have thoughts about is like, as we were talking about Jackie, it's weird because I feel like this potential devolvement of Will's character in the terrain and landscape of like South LA, instead of it being like in Philly, I feel like it feels less authentic. And I think that's what I'm struggling with, is like, you don't necessarily, like, not, maybe inauthentic is not the right word, but it's like, you're in a situation in Bel-Air, which understandably it got messy at the end of season 1. And I understand like not feeling lied to by everyone But I feel like you're in LA for a purpose, and you were supposed to be in the Bel-Air setting, and that's where, you know, you're supposed to just like, that was you having a choice at a better life. And so him choosing to like be in South LA and sort of choosing the streets again, but in the landscape of like LA instead of it being like in Philly, like it would make sense if he devolved in Philly, if he was back in Philly again. Whereas in LA, I don't know if that's making sense. It's like, it's just a thought I had when you were talking about Jackie and the struggle with that character, or this iteration of the character. If they had like Jackie in the Philly setting, it would feel different to me in terms of like this potential devolvement of his character. Because in LA, it's like, you don't need to choose this. Why are you choosing this? As opposed to him being in the setting where he's used to that.
No,
I don't know. I feel like it's not being articulated well, but that's how I feel. That's why I feel like it's like, maybe inauthentic is the wrong word, but it just feels, it's not something that I can get on board with, because it's like, why are you choosing this path?
His, like, evolving into like with Jackie per se, so like that's the part I unpack.
Yeah.
The thing about it is like Jackie in the original came to was in at UCLA with him, or whatever the school that was like fake UCLA, but she was from Philly, so I get her not, you know, being in that space. I honestly don't even have a full problem with him devolving, like him playing these little street pickup games. Okay, cool. He's not selling drugs, but also I'm from the hood, so it's different.
Yeah.
Like all the little stuff that he's doing, and he's like reverting back, go ahead. Like he'll be fine. I don't really look at it as like clear and present danger. I literally struggled the most with like, this man died. Okay, and like this is also drawn from like my personal experiences too. So this man Doc, you now have like pedestalized as he's going to help resurrect your potential to be able to be recruited, and you need this man to know you, and you don't need to do nothing else. That's not realistic. The way recruiting works, and I went through the process, the way that you get on the radar of schools that you want to be at is, one, specifically with basketball, you play for your school, and then you play and travel as in AAU, and they're constantly recruiting. You also put together a highlight tape of yourself from like game footage, and like I literally back in the day had to go and like cut things from different things, pull things from VHSs, because I'm old, and like do certain stuff to put it together, make copies of it, and send it to every single college coach that I needed to know my damn name. You put together a player profile. Like you go to these different things where there's time or there's space created for like players from a specific city or state all come together and compete with each other. There's so many other things that also happen in the recruiting process. So like his idea of like, oh, I can't make it to get a college scholarship without this man, and now I'm going to turn my back on everybody because of this man, is wild to me. Like it makes absolutely no sense. So that's one. And then on the romantic side of things, I have to watch you now basically drag your nuts across Lisa's forehead to like chase after this little Latin girl. For why? For why? Like, that trailer, it just did something to me. And I swear, y'all, I have been trying. I've been journaling last night, and I have been trying to like disassociate it, but it feels like the train wreck that has become All American, and I cannot do it again. I just can't. Kofi wants to join.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Kofi could definitely have his moment. I can pop on too, so.
Hey Kofi.
Hey guys.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Hey,
just watching my boy Russ make his debut for the Clippers. So the only reason why the one reason I'm tuning in for season 2 is the story arc with Ashley, specifically the black with the OG Ashley, and then the teaching of Black history. Because this is something that is really, really dear to my heart. I'm living in Florida, so if you all guys been paying attention to what's going on with how some people in the government, I ain't gonna say names, but they trying to make it as if Black history is in American history, it lacks educational value. Okay, so I feel like this story is gonna really, really hit hard for me because I used to, I used to be in this space. I was a substitute teacher for some time, and I have a BA in history, so like we exist. Black people is American history, okay? I don't care what people say. Like, you can't just say, oh, our history doesn't matter. So I like the fact that we're getting this arc with Ashley and the Bel-Air students pushing it back against, our history matters, or like, we're not going to just allow you to say, hey, just because some people are uncomfortable. Look, there has to be truth and reconciliation. Sometimes American history is ugly, but in order for us to move forward as a society, you gotta put it out there. I'm not saying we're gonna blame everybody. I'm just saying, put the facts out there. Let's have an honest, open discussion with some nuance, and then move forward so we can do better. So that's part of the reason why I'm watching. And also, more so, I want to know if Phil's got some skeletons in the closet, and I feel like Jeffrey knows what all the bodies are great. I'm not saying Phil had killed nobody, but I just feel like there's something in Phil's past that we don't know about, and I feel like something's gonna come out. So that's the reason why I'm watching.
Those are two things that you're watching for.
Yeah.
So so are you not tuned into Will's story?
I mean, I am. I am.
How do you feel?
I feel like he'll like you. I agree. I mean, I think when I watched the first episode, it felt like he was divulging, but like he's gonna regress a little bit. But I'm just gonna. This is the optimistic view of me speaking. I'm just gonna say, as I continue to watch, I think he'll slowly realize the character of Doc and those type of guys ain't gonna be good for him in the long run, and he'll have that aha moment. That's how I hope. That's what I hope. That's what I think is gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So. And then, Carlton and how he moves, trying to associate himself with the Black Student Union and how he deals with his anxiety issues. Because I know how it is. I mean, I don't have to take medication for anxiety or stuff like that, but I sometimes, get nervous when I'm, going in front of people and trying to do new things. So I can relate to what Carlton did. Now I know I wasn't Carlton in season 1 because we agree he was. I had to give him the side eye so many times, but I'm trying to see like if he'll make a regression or how does he like change his opinion in the eyes of not just the BSU students but specifically the Black students. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen the trailer and I watched the pilot. So look, sometimes trailers will tell you what you expect to see. But like, I still want to, experience it and just you could think one way, but then like see how it plays out. That's all. That's the only reason. Feel me?
What do you think happens that makes Carlton go back to using drugs and at odds with Will?
I don't even know. Honestly, I think maybe it's that new guy that I forgot what his name was, but the one when he flipped them off when they went into the BSU meeting, when he only showed up to get the votes for the BSU when he was the president at Bel-Air. I feel like he's gonna say something that triggers him, and then there might be some Will and Carlton in trying. I think Will's gonna try and boost up Carlton to help him ingratiate himself with them, and then maybe they have a disagreement. Then that other dude starts talking out the side of his mouth, and then Carlton decides. I'm not saying he's gonna go back to what he did in previously, like being an antagonist towards Will. I'm just thinking he'll lash out, and the anxiety will get to him. And I think, that's what I don't know for sure, but I do know that, like, I think that he's finna go through it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But the most important thing for me is the Black history type stuff that we're getting, because it's very, very apropos. Like people are trying to say people want to close their eyes and close their ears and not trying to have this conversation. But look, it's out there. Like, we're not trying to, I don't like this idea, oh, we don't want to, it makes like children uncomfortable. Well, how do you think black kids felt for all these years, knowing that their history has been marginalized? I mean, come on. We just got to, look, it's out, it's already happened. It ain't like you can hide it, okay? Even by you trying to hide it, you're just going to make kids be more curious, and then when they find out about it, then, it you can't, the truth will be revealed. That's all. That's what I'm telling you. All right. So
I mean, I can get behind that. The conversation around Black history and the erasure of Black people.
Exactly.
Books. I can get behind that for the story. I think for me specifically, it just goes down to, is it worth the trade-off that I'm going to experience to
it's fair. That's
that
fair.
storyline played out?
It's fair.
How do you feel about Jackie now that you've seen her? Because I know that you were excited when you saw her in the trailer before the show premiere, but now how do you feel about her?
I don't know. I feel like after watching the first episode, I feel like she's gonna have ulterior motives. Like, she's tied into Doc. That's how I think it's gonna happen. Like, yeah, they might be vibing and be hanging out and chilling and stuff, but I feel like when he sees her for who she really is, or if something comes down the pipeline, I think he'll find his way back. He'll realize that, bro, this ain't it, and maybe he gets it together with Lisa. That's the optimistic view that I'm taking on this. Okay, I was excited because I thought, I was kind of like being a little messy. I like I like the drama and stuff like that. But in all seriousness, I just look, after watching the first episode, like, yeah, bruh, this ain't it, done. I mean, I know you already have your person, so just better fix that.
It's not even like Lisa might not be his person for me. Honestly, it's really just poor timing, and it's crazy because Naya and I were like going back and forth like a week ago around love triangles and how she's so over them.
Yeah, I know.
And I was just like, well, okay, well, not here. I get it here. And to see this setup for this, it leaves the worst taste in my mouth. I swear to God, Kobe, like, I'm good.
I understand. I know what All American Universe has done. I understand. I get it. No, I get
Kobe,
it.
tell me you did not think at any moment while Will was talking to Lisa, I've heard this before.
Yeah. I mean, you're not lying. I can't push back. So, yeah. I heard, yeah, I know, but I don't know. I can't really say anything at this point. I just want to see what happens, because I don't just want to like say, oh, because I saw it on one show and then it thinks it's gonna happen on another show. You know what I mean? I'm willing to go with it with open eyes. That's how I am about everything. You know what I mean? So,
and God bless you. You are strong. You one of God's strongest. As for me and my house, I'm capable of, and I'm gonna go ahead and tip one out.
Okay.
All American got me the first time, and I went to Homecoming, and now they're trying to do it with Homecoming. And it's like, you need to learn.
The expression "fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on me." Okay.
Fool me a third time, bitch, you're dumb. That's what it's giving.
Okay. Fair.
That's what it's giving.
No, that's fair.
How Olivia has made its way over to Bel-Air, I don't know, but I refuse to watch it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm surprised. I didn't even know that. I mean, I took the time to listen to what you're saying. So, but after hearing you out, I can understand. So I'm not gonna be pressed if you're not down to be watching it. It's not a big deal to me. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate it.
Because I ain't gonna hold it against
mental health. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want everybody to know though, I am I thought a lot before I even divulge certain opinions here. I thought a lot about it because I don't want to turn people off or make people feel uncomfortable with my particular opinions, but I also want to always be authentic. When it comes to the conversation around Jackie, it's not me disliking Latinas or anything like that. I just think that a choice was made and now it changes a lot of things. And
I didn't even know she was Latina. I just thought she was just a black chick from South Central LA. I didn't even know she was Latina.
Looks black to you, Kofi?
Me, I must have not been paying attention. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know.
Wait, everybody in the chat, does Jackie look black to y'all? I could be wrong. Listen, I would love to be wrong. I would love to just be as excited about this show as I was
y'all.
Last season. I would like nothing more than that right now. I promise you. I would love to not be sitting in the feelings that I have. Does Jackie look black to y'all?
Yeah. You know,
let me know in the chat. Thank you, Cassandra. I appreciate it.
I don't think so.
Let me go do some research.
Because if she is, it's not given.
Give me 1 second. I'm about to go.
Look it up for us. I mean, I will say this. I didn't do no research. I literally just saw her and listened to her dialogue, saw her costume, and I said it ain't for me.
All right. Well, let's see what it says about her character description. So we're about to figure this out. Hold on.
Jess Danielle says she thinks she's Blasian.
Wait a minute. As a Blasian, I'm a little offended. Wait a minute. Excuse me. Wait. Now, y'all, the BFFR. I'm not trying to come for nobody, but wait a minute. Go ahead and get somebody else to do it if that's the case. Definitely not. And I didn't get that, but I mean, who knows? I don't know. But I don't think so.
Now I'm about to double check. I'm very resolute last night. Y'all, I'm not even gonna hold you. I was unhinged after watching. Naya can attest that I was unhinged. Like, I just could not believe it. And I am 100% cognizant of my feelings around All American transferring over to the show. I'm leading with that. I told Naya and Melissa that as we were debriefing. I just can't do it. They were telling such strong, dope stories last season, and like, I don't care. I don't care to this play out again. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to bring up the episode so I can see her again.
Or I don't know, like the actress maybe. I don't know about Blasian, y'all, though. That's not saying wreck my spirit.
Yo.
Maybe Afro-Latina. Maybe.
Y'all.
Oh, no.
Y'all, we gotta be for real. Y'all.
I'm sorry. Jackie was given Letty from Bring It On, All or Nothing. If you've ever seen that with Solange.
I'm not. Y'all, y'all think she black? Child. No,
Wait, is that that's what it's saying?
I literally pulled her screen and I'm getting disappointed. Like, huh? Kofi now is he's doing a little research. I'm gonna swap here.
Kofi,
he said he's doing research.
No.
He says I have to go back and see because I wasn't paying much attention to her.
Well.
Okay, I just brought her up on screen, y'all. I just brought her up on screen. I'm gonna do it again. Y'all tell me me what this is giving.
Y'all, I don't know.
They tried real hard though to make her down. They tried very hard for her to be down. I can't. I cannot, y'all. I cannot. Oh, I cannot.
I have to do some research.
I'm just, like Erica said, Jackie was a choice. So just, do with that what you will.
That she, that the dude who plays Will and the dude who plays Carlton have done an interview saying that she is mixed. If they are doing interviews about it, then that means that other people have asked the question.
That's a good
Just saying,
point.
She isn't giving darker Karuchi. Karuchi is not black, right?
No, isn't Karuchi mixed? I know she's Filipino. Actually, I should know this, but I don't know.
She wasn't giving me Asian at all, but that was just me. Yes.
Cool, Jackie? Oh no, I'm just Jackie. No, I don't think it's Malaysian, but.
Okay, Karuchi is Malaysian.
Okay,
yes, so this girl's supposed to be Malaysian. That's what y'all want me to believe.
Yeah, but we're talking about Jackie. How
she's a darker
get in it?
So maybe she's Malaysian as well. Irregardless, my point still stands of like the whole positioning of like hierarchy and aesthetics when it comes to black men. You have to me, you just have to be really particular about like what you exalt and how you do it. In the way that they also usher her in, she's having to do the most minimum amount. Like the girl literally says 3 words and he's just so enamored. No. Immediately no.
No.
Kofi, are you finished with the research? Because you sure
right, sir.
I'm looking at this Variety article about the season 2 cast members, 3 recurring characters. So I think I found it. So I'm reading it. Just give me 1 second to look at this. I'm doing it for my own edification, so I have the right facts. Okay.
Okay. We appreciate you doing your due diligence.
We do.
All right. So we already saw Weedy in the first.
I just think if Jackie was supposed to be, is she supposed to be like this critical part of Will's story in this season? She didn't make a strong enough entrance for me to care. That's what I will say about Jackie. For me, I don't really care. I don't really.
And why do we have no kissing her in front of Lisa and like making a point of saying that Lisa's a friend? Like that feels intentionally hurtful. Why are we there? And why are we there with to like do what for this girl? Like why her?
And then it really connects to him saying like, if it's meant to be, it'll be to Lisa. And then, so that means you have to go kiss up on somebody else.
Yeah.
First, like, it feels very purposeful in a way that's not cute. And the way in the trailer, they're positioning it like it's supposed to be like a very trite love triangle, which like Erica said, I'm not here for it either.
All it says about her character is that her South LA street smarts will put Will's Philly swagger to the test when they're introduced to each other at a Venice basketball tournament. That's the character description that was on the Variety article. Now, in terms of, I don't know, so that's it. well, so I can understand why this is something that's that you guys probably are not interested in. So I'm not gonna throw any qualms. I don't throw shade. If you're gonna have to say, yeah, I'm gonna head out when it comes to Bel-Air season 2. But I have my reasons.
I think that we are like bombarded constantly with imagery and certain things. You know, like watch it materialize in this show that you also like, or speaking for me, that I also put on a pedestal in a lot of ways. Like Bel-Air was literally upper echelon for me. Like last year it was P Valley and Bel-Air in reference to like what I was measuring everything by. And I guess I'm processing or grieving feelings of like, well, maybe it isn't as special as you thought it was. Oh, she's Latino.
She is.
The actress is Black Latino.
So
okay,
bro.
Hey, all right.
Latino.
At least she's still black.
Not us trying to find a drop.
I'm just being funny. I'm sorry.
I know you are, Kofi, but I know you are. I know you mean no harm.
Good
night.
Like,
at least we got that. We got a drop. No, and like I don't know what it is, y'all. I really don't fully know why I get the ick at the idea
After just
of
one
it and how I
episode,
know
though?
for it, huh?
After just one episode of season 2.
Yes. Because Kofi, All American, tried to tell me, and I kept chugging along like a dumbass, getting invested. I do not want to hurt in this way. Like, that's it. That's all.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
don't. And specifically with the Jackie character, it would change everything for me if none of her dialogue changed, if none of her costuming or accessories changed, if her hair didn't change, but the girl was hood. If she was dark skinned, I wouldn't have no qualms.
Okay.
No qualms. He could do all the same stuff. He could say the same thing that he's saying to Lisa because it's just different, and it's unfortunate in reference to our society, but like that is a different conversation of him. Like now we're having a real conversation of like black girl or black girl versus black girl and like passing this girl's okay.
Yeah, I completely understand. All right.
Thank you, Sophie, for doing that research. For me. Okay, but wait, before I let you go, how do you feel like this premiere measured up to last season, the series premiere?
Series premiere was a great introduction. I mean, it was top tier. This one, I had been anticipating it. It wasn't that. I'll put it to you like this: the first season premiere was a 10. This one I'll give like 8. I mean, it was very, very good. And keep in mind that I'd been paying attention to the dialogue. When they premiered, it was 2 weeks after what we left off on the season 1 cliffhanger. So about when he moves out the house. So I was really trying to see where was his headspace. And so that was what I was looking most forward to about it. Well, where is he right now? Is he going back to his? I mean, is he struggling? Or is some of those toxic tendencies that he had in Philly are they gonna reappear? So yeah. But it was a pretty good series premiere, and I kind of do like, at least in this first episode, where Will and Carlton are good. Like they form. I know, but
even that, Kofi, it's like I feel like I'm being set up because like we get to see that and you want to buy into it, but then y'all gonna give me a trailer and show that Carlton gonna lose his shit. So like, why am I gonna get invested in it if I know that y'all about to undo it?
Yeah, this is fair.
I thought that was interesting too. I thought like Carlton making this complete about face and like us entering in the journey around his blackness and like bridging the gap between, his acceptance and him admitting that like Will makes him cooler and he does like ultimately I felt like the conversation that he was having with Will was him like articulating like I like who I am around you. I don't like who I am when you're not around. Yeah. And to like feel that, but then to also have y'all tease to me him completely go back as if none of this even matters. It almost feels like, well, why would I watch? You're not giving me something to like really hope and root for.
Yeah. You know, I feel you. I understand. So I guess I got not much more to say after that, honestly. But in all seriousness, like the big thing for me is this thing with the Black students and their history and the protest that's probably coming. We've seen it in the trailer, and then Phil, if he's got anything that he out, because I feel like the fact that he was so angry at Jeffrey, that's your boy, bro. I know he was your house manager, but y'all were boys first before, you got into this,
Yeah.
He was with you through. So I feel like Jeffrey, he knows things that he, like I said, and I want to know, like, is there something that's, I'm not trying to say Phil is a criminal, but is he's hiding something that he doesn't want his wife or the family to know about him? You know what I mean? So that's where because I feel like that's coming. I really do. Because because I'm anticipating they're going to reconcile at some point, but even that, there's still going to be that. It's not going to be the same because Phil was that pressed about the fact that Jeffrey decided to do this look for information about his father. So, yeah. All right.
Kofi,
Let me go ahead and see my boy Russell Westbrook do his thing now. So.
All right. Enjoy. All right.
Sorry. My bad, y'all. My mic was off. Shoot. I am making the correlations when it comes to All American and Bel Air. Clearly, they have nothing to do with one another and all of that jazz. But even like when I think about the conversations that are going to be surrounding it and like how colorism has popped up within that, like I really am very apprehensive to get involved in the whole Bel Airness of it all because I feel like the same thing is coming. So like now when we go down the road of this love triangle and Lisa and Will versus Lisa, Lisa and Will versus Jackie and Will, and like people are not even going to realize how much of like their texturism and colorism and massage noir is steeped in like why they're going to actually prefer Jackie over Lisa. And I'm just like anticipating that, and like I don't want no parts of it, like at all. I don't want to buy into Carlton telling Will, like I just mentioned to Kofi, like basically I like who I am when you're around. I don't like who I am when we're not cool or when I'm with Connor or whatever, but then we watch him go right back to Connor. Like I just don't want to see it at all. Naya's back. Buy into Carlton telling Will, like I just mentioned to Kofi, like basically I like who I am when you're around. I don't like who I am when we're not cool or when I'm with Connor or whatever, but then we watch him go right back to Connor. Like I just don't want to see it at all. Naya's back.
I'm back, y'all. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm gonna. They got me for episode 2 and 3. It's so funny. I didn't see the trailer. I just watched the episodes. I was like telling Erica, I was like, oh, okay, like the first season. The first episode, I thought it was a decent one. It was a good one, but I was stressed, and I was like, okay, like. This is the journey. And then she was like talking about the trailer, and I was like, oh wait, I didn't even see the trailer. So I went back, and then I was like,
we were in the chat, and I was rattling off like I'm not doing this, y'all, because I don't want to see this. And Naya literally responded, girl, why are you writing this out? Like, you just writing the story? Like, we don't even know if any of this is happening yet. That was literally her response.
Yes.
And I was just like, well, the trailer said it, and I'm done. She's like, please hold.
And I watched it a couple times, and I'm just like, I just, at least like the meat and potatoes of the season, and I don't know if anybody's trying to go down that road again on a new show.
Like, I feel defeated before we even get started,
and that's a bad place to be. I just, with Carlton, but I just don't feel like any of it is earned. I don't feel like it's earned with Will and Carlton. Yes, they're family, but Carlton showed up at the beginning of the show where he did not give a rat's ass if Will was family, and he treated that boy like it was just very foul, Carlton's behavior. So I just feel like now, okay, you guys might have been on better terms at the end of season 1, but none of that indicated where we are in the first episode, where it's like y'all are homeboys, and I'm just like, okay, that's nice, but I don't feel like any of it's earned. I don't feel like the conversation, I told this to Erica, him standing up in the BSU meeting and like being so confident in what he was saying, I just felt like it was the wrong messenger for the right message. Because I do think, going to Kofi's point, the conversations around Ashley's storyline, and I think the teacher, Mrs. Hughes, I'm just gonna call her Ashley, OG Ashley, and Bel-Air's Ashley will be interesting, because I think it trickles into the Black students at the school. And so even the conversation of, like, I guess BSU at Bel-Air being a lot more passive than they should be. Like, I understood Carlton's message, but I felt like it was the wrong message from the wrong person who hasn't shown any growth or any work to get to this place where now you're like rooted in your Blackness, where we've seen you be anything but rooted in that in the first season. So now that Connor and the white boys don't want to be your friend no more, now I feel like you want to choose Will and choose your Blackness. And so for me, it feels very inauthentic. So it's also why it doesn't surprise me that he's back to the drugs. Because when you haven't made any moves to, like, you know, redeem yourself or making any steps to be a better version of yourself, then it's very easy for you to slip into old patterns and bad habits. So,
I see.
That's a lot.
But then,
I'm sorry. That was a lot. But
oh, you're fine. That also, though, brings up the point of, like, so then why are we seeing hints of that in the first episode? Because it's like you literally gave him a whole about face, and then now you're going to, like, take him right, like, the Bel-Air that I know was way more nuanced in its writing than this. Like,
right. And I guess for me, because I feel like already I'm not really here for Carlton. I just wasn't. I felt like it was very, like, inauthentic to me, the way that it was just like a complete 360, and I'm just supposed to accept that this is the new version of Carlton. So seeing the trailer and seeing where it looks like he ends up, it's back to the same. Like, for me, he's still that Carlton. Like, I haven't seen any growth for him to get to this more evolved place. Like, so it's not a surprise to me. So that's why I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I don't really care about Carlton's story at this point right now.
Yeah.
In this season of life, because I just feel like I said, there hasn't been any steps that we've visibly seen of him being on this journey of, like, I'm sorry, a redemption arc, because he has a lot to repent for. So, like, it's like the same thing with Uncle Phil. You're trying to portray him to be like this, you know, stand-up Black man, and we've seen anything but that. So how am I supposed to root for these two men, these two characters, when I'm not seeing anything that's supporting that.
Yeah. And y'all, I think that really is it for me in reference to, I gave you the point of like what it's like and what it feels like and what I'm concerned with because it's like that thing. But then on top of that, they're not doing anything to convince me otherwise in reference to giving me things, people to root for. With Carlton, you give him this about face. It's not earned. He completely adjusts. So then, of course, he's going to revert back. So you're right, just Danielle. It makes sense. I think it was just Danielle. It makes sense for him to go back. It's realistic him reverting because he didn't actually do the work to be better. So cool. But then, okay, I was on his head before. We have this one little moment in this breather, and I'm supposed to not be on his head, and then he's going back. So if I already know that, why in the hell would I care? Now I'm back on, like, I'm just never going to root for him. I don't care about any of the moments that are supposed to be better because they're fake. They're a lie. And you're telling me up front that you're lying to me. So why in the hell would I waste my time with it? When it comes to Will, I hate the idea that he is going to allow Doc to be this precious in his life, and he is going to throw any and everything away because of it. I can't root for Will because he's dumb. So, like, that's another thing. Hillary, cool. She figured out her in the first episode, and she's going to have to confront Ivy. That is interesting, but it's not compelling enough to drive the entire show. Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv. I don't like Uncle Phil. I probably will never like Uncle Phil. It's probably nothing that they will be able to get to do to make me like Uncle Phil. And then them bringing in him having a potential mistress just makes it even worse. I'm still rooting for Aunt Viv, but then also, girl, I'm going to need you to stand up. And if you ain't standing up, then I got to stop rooting for you, because at this point, you're just dragging me to hell with you. If I was one of your homegirls, it's like only but so many times I'm going to be on this ride with your ass. Like, and yes, I'm 120% rooting for Ashley, but how much screen time y'all gonna give her? You're not gonna have me sitting here for 54 minutes and Ashley gets 6 of them hoes, and I'm suffering the rest of the time.
I mean, it's all very valid. And I was talking to you about this last night. I was like, what's also very irritating is you already have characters on the show like Uncle Phil and Carlton who have not made any steps to better themselves and to be better versions of themselves so we could possibly root for y'all. But then you're trying to introduce new characters who then become adversaries. Like Doc is clearly going to be an adversary to Uncle Phil. Mm-hmm. And so that is going to force me to be in a position where I'm going to have to root for Uncle Phil's raggedy ass, even though I know he's a raggedy ass Negro. And you're really no better than Doc, but Doc seems like he's going to be a real problem. And so I'm supposed to like root for Uncle Phil to beat Doc's ass, even though I'm like, you know what? I really don't care about either of you. Y'all both are menaces in Will's life, and y'all both can jump off the cliff together because I don't care. So it's very annoying too, is you're ushering characters in without, you know, specifically dealing with the ones that you have. Mm-hmm. Like, let's focus on if Phil is ever going to get his head out of his ass, like anytime throughout the series. And then Carlton, can we focus on these problem children first before you usher in new people that we don't really give a rat's ass about, but you're positioning them in a place where now we have to see them. And I'm like, with Will, like, he already has a menace in Uncle Phil. We didn't need this other one. That really, I don't understand the story of bringing Doc in, and that's, he's supposed to play some grand role in Will's basketball career or whatever, and clearly he has other intentions. It's too much.
And you give us the dialogue 15 minutes in of like, I know it sounds shady, but he's gonna help me. Like, y'all, it was so many times in the first episode where they like, y'all, we're lying to you, and it's like, I'm not dumb, so you can like, you're only gonna be able to piss on my leg and tell me it's raining once, and they did it all throughout the episode, and I'm supposed to stay here. But I want to go to your point, because what came up for me, which I haven't touched on, and I feel like this is going to come up in the comments, so I'm glad that I'm able to preempt this. But you have like kind of touched on it in our private conversations in reference to Lisa, because you weren't seeing it for Lisa for a while, and I've already talked about my feelings about Jackie. to your point of like them introducing new people and we haven't dealt with the stuff with our current people. We have Will putting this relationship with Lisa on the back burner, but we haven't really dealt with the meat and potato. Like
why?
Lisa got a chance to atone for her. Didn't get a chance to like do what she needed to do. And then now I'm supposed to come in and either like or root for this new girl, but there was still so much promise here and his heart was still here. And then now all of a sudden I'm supposed to buy into it. And then you add on the cultural things. It's like, y'all are setting me up for failure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because like with Lisa, like I just wasn't seeing it for her towards the end of the season because I just didn't like her reaction towards when she found out about Will's past.
Mm-hmm.
So then when he's basically telling her we need to take a break, and it's like I felt like this was very contradictory because I didn't feel like he needed to apologize to her for anything. And then in the same breath, he's like, but I'm not about to apologize for who I am. So I'm like, then why are you apologizing? So like, what is the really the meat and potatoes of this? Like, what are you trying to say? Because it's one thing to be like, okay, everything's happened so fast, moving to Bel-Air, getting caught up, and maybe, yeah, I jumped into a lot of things too fast. And yeah, that could, him and Lisa's relationship and sort of how fast that was, that can play a role too, of course. Like, I wouldn't have even been mad if like, or not mad, but I could have understood it more if you just made it about that in terms of like then, and they're trying to address like Lisa reacting the way that she did and then her raggedy daddy playing, because that was like a really played a big role as well. You're like, it was too many things, and what Will was saying that felt very contradictory. Like, if you are not apologizing for who you are and where you come from, then what are you apologizing to her for like just where are you taking me? Like,
and she doesn't even, in the moment, she didn't even get a chance to say anything back.
No. So it's also like, Lisa, do you understand? Like, do you get it? Like, or maybe have you seen things differently? So then,
but
yeah,
him not giving her a chance to even communicate that also,
right.
Like, it's like, okay, what's your issue, Will? Because you literally approached her earlier in the episode and said, can we talk? But then you only do the talking and you don't do no listening. And that, wait a minute now, because, okay, come on, writing. Now when I think about it and like thinking about the dialogue, I feel like my brain works like a spreadsheet sometimes. So Uncle Phil approached Will and said, can we talk? And he said, I don't have nothing to talk about. And he said,
yes, you did.
You listen. But then you didn't have any capacity to listen to a response from Lisa. Like, what is it that y'all actually trying to lay out for me there? And I'm very clear what you're trying to lay out for me there. You're trying to lay out the love triangle-ness of it all. You
right.
Don't let her say anything so that there cannot be no real closure, so that we're going to go on this damn roller coaster, and I don't want to.
Yeah, that's definitely the main layout, of course. Yeah. So I'm like, with Lisa, I know there's people who don't like Lisa, and like, but I feel like it's always been like a strong dislike for Lisa. I was on board with Will and Lisa. I appreciated Lisa's character for Will at the beginning, but she lost me when she tried to villainize him.
So much worse now. Like, I don't even want like the whole like Jackie looks better than Lisa. I know that's what Twitter's gonna be saying. Like, I know it, and I just.
Yeah, I've already seen. Yeah. The street talking
already saying it.
Yeah.
So like, I just don't. Know yourself, y'all. Know yourself. I created a whole journal for you to process your damn feelings and be honest with your damn self. Know yourself, and when something is not for you, it's just not for you. And that, unfortunately, that's what I feel like season 2 of Bel-Air is giving.
Yeah.
Especially because I also feel like they're going to create these things and they're not actually doing it intentionally to have a conversation about the shit that they're about to spark up.
Yeah, which is like, it's a real issue to just create certain storylines for the purpose of not addressing old storylines or doing it for, I don't know, some kind of like wow factor or something big to push things along. I don't know. which also annoys me with certain shows. It's like we're creating storylines that don't really need to be there, that in the grand scheme of things, are they really servicing the main themes of this show, or are you guys just doing them for some kind of like buzz? I don't know.
That part.
Does Jackie really need to be here? I don't really know,
Does
because
she
based off of
need to be here yet? Because it also feels very rushed.
yeah,
Jackie coming to season 2 was just like, what? We barely got our footing with Lisa. What the hell?
yeah. And I think, like, from Kofi reading the description of like Jackie's character, like, well, she already did her job. So does she really need to be here anymore? Like, she was at the pickup game in Venice. She has supposedly show him some kind of a South LA swagger or whatever the hell it was saying, but she's already done her job, so y'all can just let her go. And she doesn't have to be on screen.
Right.
So I feel like she served her purpose based off of the description, but clearly she's gonna be here to see another day, so I guess.
Not just the all the accessories. All the accessories take away her looks, so you can't tell.
She did have a lot of gear on.
It was a lot, yo. It was a lot. It was giving cosplay, honestly, for me.
Yeah, it really, because was also a choice.
Get somebody else to do.
Really,
I can't. And y'all was supposed to convince me of like, or show me better.
They can't.
Make my way back to watching the show, but I'm more resolute now than ever. Y'all didn't have me pull this girl up and look at her again. Oh yeah, those are my thoughts around Bel-Air.
Yeah.
I don't even know, like Aunt Viv. That's my girl. I love her, but also I's tied, and she gonna have to pick a struggle this season. Like, not even just the season. Like, girl, what is it that you want? Because you're mad about Reed, you being his protege, and the miss doing whatever with the article, and the this and the that, and you want Will to come home, and you watching Phil not apologize at every turn. It's like, bro, I looked at her in this episode and I didn't feel as strongly convicted to like come to her side or to like stand up for her as I did last season. Because it's also like, girl, you don't know what you want, and you're still playing very small. I think the stuff that she do get mad about don't even goddamn matter. So what? This magazine said whatever. This is an opportunity that Reed brought in. If you want to do whatever you want to do with the fellowship, the actual gallery showing, then do it. What other people say about it don't have to do with you. And you got all this heat and this smoke, and you got all these words that you won't have for Reed next episode because of what was said in the magazine, but you have no words for the man who lays next to you and decided to make it hard for your damn nephew to find a home in your house and couldn't swallow his damn pride and simply apologize to y'all's house confidant who has bent over backwards and sacrificed himself and his family for you. Like, why am I going to care about you getting mad about this damn article with this magazine lady when you can't even say what it is and what it ain't to Phil and put your damn foot down? Like, I need her at some point to have some kind of influence over Phil, or why? What are we doing here? Y'all can go ahead and end the marriage right now, honestly.
And then, it's not them trying to give Reed the clay story from all of it. They're trying to villainize that man.
He's a big bad villain out of nowhere.
Listen, y'all are not about to villainize Michael Ealy in my house. Well, I don't know, certain roles, but not in this particular role as Reed. He was not a villain.
Naya, you said it, not me. I didn't even say that I didn't even think about them claying his ass.
They try to clay him. Because then to have like Phil next to her, like, oh, do I need to go handle him? No. And then like they're gonna have Aunt Viv looking even more goofy, ushering like this old flame from Phil. Like, girl, let it, like, please divorce that man. Like, please divorce him.
Divorce that man.
Why are you still with him? Like, there is, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm the same way with Uncle Phil. I don't care about that man. That man can jump off a cliff and I don't ever have to see this version of Uncle Phil. That is not my Uncle Phil. That is not him. I don't know that man. Harpo, who is this man? He is an imposter. Because Uncle Phil would never act like this. So I don't know who this is. Like, giving us Uncle Phil cosplay, because I don't know this man. I don't. And Aunt Viv, I really need you to choose yourself, because it's like, what the hell? Why are we still here? It could just be Aunt Viv raising these kids.
I would much rather watch Aunt Viv go back and forth with Will's mama all season than to watch the struggle that is Will. I mean, that is Phil and Vivian.
Yeah. Very true. There's no character, I think, that position themselves to have a sort of compelling arc to follow this season. Even taking away the trailer, like watching the first, just like going back to me initially watching the first episode and us talking about it, I didn't feel compelled by anyone's story, really. The only time I felt compelled was when we had Ashley and Ashley on screen. That was the only time where I had like this big reaction. But watching it, I was just more like, that's interesting.
Right.
So, and that's just taking away the trailer. The trailer's just an added dressing.
Yeah. What were y'all's favorite moments in episode 1 of Bel-Air? Drop them in the chat or in the comments down below. I would love to hear y'all's things. What's keeping you watching? And if it's just curiosity, then hey, it's just curiosity. Is that everything, Maya?
I think so. I'm trying to think.
I think so.
I mean, Jeffrey, I don't really, in terms of what secrets he's supposed to be hiding later on in the season, I'm like, okay.
Even him, like, I'm like, okay, not too much, Erica, because like I'd be going to bat for Jeffrey, but he also is estranged from his son or like left his family. So like, what is the deal behind that? So I can't even get fully on board with his ass.
Yeah, and I love me some Jeffrey. Like, I did love the conversation between him and Will, but also it's just it'd be like this uneasy feeling with Jeffrey. Just, where is your son? When are we going to like see this boy or teenager or whoever you left behind? Like, with Uncle Phil is raggedy, yes, but when are we gonna talk about you?
We're gonna talk about you.
We're gonna talk about you. So I don't know. But I think that's,
ain't nobody dropping nothing.
Well,
I hope y'all didn't come on this live hoping that I was gonna make sense of it for you, because
maybe everyone's just watching for the ride.
Maybe.
And that's perfectly valid.
It is. It totally is. I'm sorry I can't give what I gave season 1. I'm doing my best, y'all.
I think in terms of, it's sort of how the season unravels, how it's done, but then also the trailer might actually be how it unravels. Like, they probably just gave it to us in this trailer, so I don't know.
Yeah,
because I think we're tired of like how certain storylines play out and how they're written and how they're presented. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, All American is to blame. So,
100%.
You know,
100%. I'm watching it because I'm curious of what's going to happen.
I don't know who made the point of it. Like, it was a good point actually that the show is very unpredictable in the sense of you don't really know. Like, yeah, you have like Jackie, that's a character that you can like that's a reference, but you don't necessarily you don't know where that's gonna go. So I mean that is sort of a compelling angle in terms of like, you know, we don't know what's gonna happen, but is that enough? Because then that also puts us in danger because we don't know what's going to happen. So,
yeah.
And it could just be more of the same.
Unfortunately, it could be. And every now and again, you got to decide if you bow out.
Listen, y'all gonna let Erica have this one. If Erica decides I think she's decided at this point. I don't think she could be a soldier for it. But if that's the choice, then oh well.
I am still going to do a breakdown. I already started working on it, but I have to finish editing it. Because of course I watched the first episode, so y'all will get that from me, which will talk more about plots and all that kind of stuff. Enjoy it because it's looking like that's going to be the only one y'all get this season. My Harlem videos will be up this weekend as well. I have so much stuff to catch up on. Thank y'all so much for joining me on this live. I'm really glad we got to have a conversation around Harlem because low-key, Harlem was that girl and we didn't give it enough shine, or I didn't give it enough shine for it to be as consuming as much of my mind as it was. Like, I really should have been talking about it more because it really has been like a saving grace in reference to the television landscape and the stories that were being told. That were thought-provoking, dramatic, but not overly traumatic, if that makes sense. Yeah, so check the channel for new videos. Give this video a like if you're watching it on a replay. Thank everybody who jumped in. Keish, Kofi, Justin, Yo, Naya, Mimi Loves Peace, Kenny, Nia, Money Green Tay, Lawrence. Thank everybody for joining me on tonight's live. And I will see y'all in the next